Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcast.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
Good evening, friends, and welcome inside Memorial Gardens as you are watching Battalion Hockey on the Frontline broadcast. As North Bay continues to dig out from the latest snowfall, the Sioux Greyhounds find themselves running into the Bay to take on the Central Division leading North Bay Battalion. I am your host, Derek Lindemann, and today's pregame show is brought to you by...
The pregame show is brought to you by La Huerta Imports, family owned and operated since 1995. Visit lahuertaimports.com for more details.
While as the trade deadline has passed, the North Bay Battalion have stood pat with their current roster as they ride a 4-game winning streak into tonight's matchup as they look to even up the season series with the Sioux Greyhounds, as the Greyhounds have won 2 out of the first 3 matchups, as this being the final matchup of the night. Want to welcome in Ben Sargent to join me during the pregame show. Ben, Battalion standing pat at the trade deadline, not really expecting much there.
Yeah, no surprise. Adam Dennis was talking about it before, and he said, you know what, we're happy with the team that we're in. We'll talk about some of the trades that happen around the OHL in more of the in the intermissions, but for the most part for the Battalion, it was just Adam Dennis felt like he was out there, he was looking, and there wasn't anything that really interested him that thought that he could make this team better. And honestly, this team, as we talked about before, is very deep, so not a surprise that they didn't go after anybody.
No, and the North Bay Battalion were on the road last night. They came away with a 2-1 shootout victory over the Sudbury Wolves, so they're back in action tonight just less than 24 hours after wrapping up that game. Kyle McDonald, the hero in the shootout for the North Bay Battalion. Ben, what can we expect from the Battalion on back-to-back nights?
Yeah, so the last time they played back-to-back was obviously that Oshawa game, and they didn't come out as they didn't play as good in the first period. They ended up coming out and scoring 7 more goals in that game, but definitely not super sharp. So the question is, how is that first 20 minutes going to go? This is kind of a game of 2 different teams. We've got the Sioux Greyhounds, not a very good team on the road. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but they've lost their last 5 road games, more recently in overtime against Flip, but only 1 point in their last 5 road games. On the other side, you have the Battalion, who are absolutely amazing at home. If you look at their last few home games that they've done, they've won 7-3 versus Sudbury, 7-3 versus Oshawa, 3-2 against Oshawa, and then again another 7-goal game against Niagara as well. So they've put out 24 goals in their last 4 games. I expect there to be more of that tonight.
While the North Bay Battalion sit at the top of the Central Division. Looking at the Sioux Greyhounds, they come in 5th in the West, but sit in 8th overall in the conference. They're in a battle for that final playoff spot.
Yeah, and what they did at the trade line, they went out and they got Julian Fantino from Owen Sound, and he's a guy that he's going to slot in right on that top line with McConnell, Barker, and Watson, and which was kind of surprising because going into this, there was talk about him maybe getting eased into the lineup, but he goes right into that top line. He's a guy, though, I think they got for the playoffs, if anything. If you look at how he played in the playoffs last year with the attack, he was 3rd in scoring. He had 4 goals in 7 games played, and I think that's what they're really looking at. But we're going to see not too many points this season so far, but that's probably going to change when you look at the guys that he's playing on that top line.
Well, before we go any further into this intermission show, let's look at our players to watch, as they are brought to you by Mike, the financial advisor.
Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike the Financial Advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.
Our player to watch tonight for the Sioux Greyhounds, Mark Durant, 28 points on the season, as he is one of the 3 overagers on the Sioux Greyhounds team.
Yeah, and the Sioux Greyhounds are kind of an interesting team because they do have, in the last couple of games we've seen, when you look at Niagara and Oshawa, they don't have a lot of players they don't really have any players who are point per game or more players, and we see that a little bit more with the Sioux Greyhounds. Now, Duarte in 37 games played, not quite at that level, but he is going to be manning that second line, and he adds some depth into that top 6, which is going to be very important, and he's going to be a factor, I think, tonight. When you look at, if you shut down that top line, is Duarte going to be a presence on there playing on that second line?
Yeah, Mark Durant was brought in during the offseason, signed off of waivers, as the Hamilton Bulldogs didn't have a spot for him with their team this year. He was able to win that OHL championship. He played in all 5 of Hamilton Bulldogs Memorial Cup games last year. He brings a load of experience for this Greyhounds.
Yeah, and that's another thing. We talk about playoff experience. The Sioux Greyhounds are a team that they were tied for 7th, but Guelph recently just won, so now they're sitting in 8th, bottom of that Western Conference. So they're fighting for a playoff spot. They're kind of playing against, right now, Kitchener's kind of right on their heels. So they're fighting for a playoff spot, and their question is going to be, can we get into that middle slot? Can we get into that maybe 5th or 4th spot to give them a better chance instead of playing some of the Londons or Windsors of the world? Can they get a little bit deeper into those playoffs? And they're really looking for playoff depth. And I think they're a team that can really do it. The biggest struggle that they have, and one of the head coach, John Dean, when he said, obviously we know him as a former assistant coach and with the Battalion, a former player with the Centennials, what he said was he's very happy with the way that his team is played. However, when they're not going to their structure, they can really struggle with pinching too much on the offensive side of stuff. So that's something that we can watch out as well.
And our player to watch for the North Bay Battalion, Justin Ertl. He scored the lone goal in regulation last night, a shorthanded goal for the North Bay Battalion, who are sitting atop of shorthanded goal scored for with 10 so far.
Yeah, and Ertl's kind of the lost. You don't think about him too much when you look at guys like Bloom and Jackson, who are really kind of coming into their own. But Ertl is a very important part of this line. He adds a lot of intangibles that you don't quite see on the score sheet. The way that he's able to play the game defensively and in transition and help this line out. Again, expect him to be kind of one of those intangibles on this top line, and I expect to see some great play from him tonight.
Well, we can't go any further without talking about the scratches tonight for the North Bay Battalion. It's getting scratched again tonight. Tanias Mathern still out dealing with shoulder injury long term. Liam Arnsby will miss his 3rd consecutive game due to illness. But late scratches tonight on that defensive end are Bruskowski and Alexander Lukin, who both will be missing the game as they were in last night's contest. Yeah, and Lukin had that really, really nice goal against Niagara, and obviously Bruskowski playing against his former team. He was traded from the Sioux earlier for a couple of picks earlier this season, and definitely a different 9 defenseman. Obviously Hislop and Nelson up top, but Winslow now slots up into that second pairing where Lukin was with Christopoulos, and Turley is going to come in, who tends to be a healthy scratch here. So it's going to be interesting to see how this defensive corps, the offense, those lines are also switched around as we see Van Stietsel and Wakely now with McDonald on that second line. And not only are we going to see a change in defense, we're going to see a change in goaltender, as Charlie Robertson will get the start tonight for Ryan Ugelhan's Battalion. Yeah, and Charlie Robertson, last time we saw him was against Oshawa, and he was a goaltender who
looked really, really good. He made a couple of great saves, and to be honest, he only really gave up one goal in that game. There were 2 goals that were given up early in the game that were really because of sloppy play and bad giveaways by the Battalion. So I expect Robertson to hold his own, and to be honest, this is a game where if Robertson's solid, we know how Battalion can play defensively. This could be a game where they can rack up if the Sioux Greyhounds are playing a more and they're cheating more of the offensive zone. This could be a very lopsided game.
Well, Robertson comes in with a 6-3 record, a 321 goals against average, and an 885 save percentage. He hasn't lost in his last 3 starts, and he's a kid that needs to get off to a hot start in order to get into the flow of the game.
Yeah, and again, you look at this guy, he's a rookie, and if you think about DiVincentis as your number 1 guy, obviously, Robertson is a big future that they have, and he's looked absolutely fantastic. You see McIver, a guy who's playing for the Trappers down in kind of the farm system, you could call it. And I think the future depth for this team goaltending is very, very promising, and I expect a good game from Robertson here this evening.
His counterpart in goal tonight for the Sioux Greyhounds, Samuel Ivanov, 8-5 record, a 411 goals against average, and an 865 save percentage.
Yeah, and Ivanov's a very interesting guy. He's not the regular starting goaltender at all. Generally, it's Carly Schmeichel who's the main goaltender. He's been out. He's been dealing with a upper body injury since November, and he's not on this road trip either, so he's still a little bit of ways out. Ivanov, this is his 15th straight start, and he's a guy, he's a solid goaltender. He's kind of an average goaltender, but when he gets into trouble and what inflates his numbers is when the Sioux do not play well defensively behind him. He's given up a couple in a game earlier against Hamilton. His very first start, he gave up 10 goals. There have been a couple of these double digits or very close to double digit games that he's given up, and unfortunately, it's just how they play defensively in front of him, because he's going to need some help from his teammates.
The Sioux last came to North Bay back on December 8th, and they went out of town with a 4-3 victory that night. The North Bay Battalion, they want to prove that this barn is one hard to win in, as they have a 13-2-0-1 record in Memorial Gardens.
Yeah, and they love playing here, as we talked about. On the road so far, if you look at the last couple of games against Sudbury, they were kind of sloppy. They didn't play that well, and this is a place where that home ice advantage is so big. They play here well. The crowd comes out, they support them, and they really come out firing, which is really good. And we talked again, the Sioux Greyhounds, they've struggled in their road game. John Ninas talked about what they need to do to get better, and they've changed up how they practice. They've changed up kind of their pregame because of how much they've struggled on the road, and that's something that North Bay has a huge advantage with tonight.
Yeah, the Sioux Greyhounds only winning 6 of 15 games on the road. So if the Battalion want to get back, continue their winning ways as they are on a 4-game winning streak, tonight's a night that they really want to put the puck in the net.
Yeah, we talked about, again, we're in the middle of this 8-game stretch before they play the Windsor Spitfires, who got significantly better at the trade deadline as they sit second behind London now in that Western Conference. And the big thing for the Battalion here this evening is, can they come away? They're 4-0 right now in this 8-game stretch against weaker opponents, or opponents who are kind of further down in this in the standings. And so far, so good. Even though they got kind of lucky with the Sudbury game, it could have really went the other way with the way that they played. But at the end of the day, they're 4-0, and they're looking to keep it going here in the next 4 games.
One of the disappointing numbers in that game last night was their power play. 0 for 6 in the evening with the man advantage. They sit 18th in the league, converting only on 19.4% of their opportunities.
And we look at that number, we were talking about how it was 14th and moved up, and now all of a sudden they're right back at the bottom. And again, that's the make or break. They're a team that they can score 5-on-5. They don't need to have their power play going. However, on games like Sudbury where they get 6 opportunities, you need at least 1 or 2 goals, and that would have been a difference in the game. And when they're playing teams like Windsor and London, and even some of the teams like Barrie and Hamilton, those power play is going to be so important to get those numbers up.
I think Ryan Woolen really needs to focus on fine-tuning that power play. Tonight might be one of those nights, as the PK for the Sioux Greyhounds, currently ranked 12th in the OHL. They've only killed off 77.4% of their penalties they've taken.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of weird because we look at the top 6 and we say, wow, look at the scoring potential even on the top 9, and they just can't get it going on the power play. And I don't know, like, obviously they're working hard at practice at that, but it's going to be something that is really going to be noticeable, and it could be the difference between how far they make it in the playoffs, or it could be something that really hinders them.
Quite the interesting referee contingent tonight in town. Mike Cairns and Lacey Senuk will be wearing the red armbands. Meanwhile, Josh Jolly and Nick Arcan will be the linesmen for tonight's game. Quite an atmosphere here. Not probably the best crowd due to the weather outside.
Yeah, not very good. Thankfully, the plows were out, but unfortunately, no wings. We were talking about this before the game. It was kind of nice, but no, we're starting to get pumped up now for sure.
It's certainly looking nice here inside Memorial Gardens. We're all set for OHL action here up in the booth. When we return, Matt Sukram will make his long-awaited return, and we'll join you, Ben Sargent, with all of your OHL hockey as it's the Greyhounds taking on the Battalion here on the Frontline broadcast.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
And we welcome you to tonight's game between the North Bay Battalion and the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. I'm Matthew Sukram, so pleased to be joined by Ben Sargent tonight. And Ben, the North Bay Battalion coming off that win against the Sudbury Wolves, where I think for a lot of people they were surprised it went right down to the wire in a shootout.
Yeah, and if there was a word to describe that game, it is sloppy. It was not a very good game. Much better, more exciting in overtime, but that is a game that they either could easily have lost or that they should easily have won, especially considering they had 6 opportunities on the power play. And I expect them to come out firing, but even though Sudbury's kind of at the bottom of the standings, it's always a good game when those two face each other.
Yeah, head coach Ryan Olahan talked about how Sudbury is always a tough building to play in, much like former North Bay Battalion assistant coach John Dean, who's now the assistant coach with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, talked about how North Bay is always a tough barn for his team to play in, and they're hoping to get things off on the right foot. They're coming off a win over the London Knights, but so far this season, the North Bay Battalion have been able to match them toe for toe.
Yeah, and the big thing that's going to be here is he talked about how, yes, they're struggling on the road, but they're changing up their routine a little bit. They're trying to get off to a good start here.
And we are underway and right away. An icing called against the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds as Paul Christopoulos goes to touch that. Paul Christopoulos, league leader in plus-minus, plus 36 on the season for the 4th-year defenseman.
Yeah, and you look at the plus-minus between these two teams, the Sioux, a lot of guys in the negative right now. The only active player for the Battalion in the negative is Tarian, who's on that fourth line. It's at a -4. So, yeah, lots of good play so far.
So play underway inside the Sioux Greyhound zone. Turnover right in front of the net, and Josh Bloom could not bury that one. He was given a gift, but could not bury it. And now on the other side, 2-on-1, and the pass is stopped by Avery Winslow on the back check going into the zone. So on both sides in the defensive zone, both teams trying to make things happen on some giveaways there. And the play continues as it's Sirazati coming in. He takes a shot that's deflected and then bouncing towards Robertson, just wide of the net on the stick side, picked up behind the net by Bloom. He turns around, turns it over. Sirazati right there. I check that Kluche's there. He'll have to chase it out of the zone as he lost the handle on it. Now Kluche on the near side boards, flips it back in towards the North Bay zone. Nelson has it for the Battalion. He fires it down the ice. It's out of the reach of McDonald, and so that will be icing against the North Bay Battalion. A minute 9 into this contest, no score.
Well, we talked about the Sioux Greyhounds and their struggles on the road. Their next 3 games are kind of going on an Eastern Conference road trip here. They're going to be playing here, then they're playing in Sudbury and finishing up in Barrie. So we talked about how they wanted to get off to a good start. This is going to be a big game for both these teams, as both want to come off to really hot starts here. And so far it's been kind of sloppy, as a couple of turnovers from both sides.
Yeah, I think if you're John Dean, you're going, okay, we made one mistake, but we're not down by a goal, so let's see if we can overcome that one, as it's played inside the North Bay zone in the far side corner. Now whipped around the end boards. Nelson has it for the Battalion. He's trying to feed that one down to Van Steen, so it's off a skate, goes back behind the net for Hislop back there. Sent around to the near side boards, bounced off those boards and into the neutral zone. McDonald battling for it. He can't get control of it over the blue line, and it's cleared by the Greyhounds. Now going the other way is Montroy. He is offside going into the North Bay zone. That Hislop-Nelson pairing has pretty much worked since day one, ever since Hislop came over in that trade a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and obviously, like him and Bloom in that case was really kind of an answer to McDonald going down and Winslow going down. And just how good Hislop has been is the fact that Winslow has been delegated to the second pairing tonight.
Yeah, Winslow, this is his 3rd game back since returning from that injury. Puck is sent down the ice into the Greyhound zone. Played in the far side corner by McConnell Barker. Knocked away off his stick by Tarasevich and flipped around on the near side. Picked up by Watson of the Greyhounds, and he gets it cleared out to the stick of the captain, McConnell Barker. Over the blue line, now he lost it, and now the Battalion trying to get out of the zone. Fantino knocks one guy over, and as he gets up, he's going to call for the offside here.
Well, we talked about how important this game is going to be for the Greyhounds. Again, they're at the bottom of the standings right now. They're right on that cusp of losing their playoff spot to Kitchener. So this is going to be very, very important for them to kind of get off to a hot start so far. And we talked about their defense. One of the things that John Dean has said is that they play really well when they have structure, but what they tend to do is when they tend to kind of go towards the offensive zone too much, and that can happen to a lot of odd man rushes. That's something that North Bay can take advantage of.
Yeah, he wants the defense to start trying to take care of their own defensive zone a little bit more. But for a team that's 12-14, it's probably just that struggle of we need to score now or we're not going to, right? And that's where the turnovers come. Turnover inside the North Bay zone, picked up by Tarian. He goes the other way for the Battalion, and he dumps it down into the far side corner, and it's around to the near side corner, picked up there by Ryan Thompson. Battling down low for it. It's a couple of guys. It comes up to the line. Hislop has it over to Kennedy. Fires it in just wide of the net. Bounce off the boards. Held into the zone by Hislop. Cross zone pass to Kennedy on the far side. Kennedy trying to chip it past the skates of Kostov, but he can't get it past them. And now it's carried down the other way by Moses. He fires it into the North Bay zone, and it goes in the corner. There's a hit thrown on the boards. Hislop gets up from that hit, and it's his defensive partner Kennedy who controls it off that hit. He plays it behind the net for Hislop. Hislop looking down his left wing side. He plays it up to the blue line to Ertl. Ertl fires it up to Jackson. Jackson coming down the right wing side. Over the blue line. Carries it into the far side corner. Now he goes behind the net. Goes into the left side. Plays it down the half boards for Ertl. Ertl banks it off the boards, and it went to the middle of the zone, but none of the Battalion were in the area, so now the Greyhounds bring it right back down the other way. Duarte goes into the corner. He gets knocked off the puck right away, and the Battalion trying to clear it. It's played to the middle of the zone. Jackson on the poke check, gets it out to the neutral zone. Almost 4 minutes gone in this first period. No score yet. Here comes Josh Bloom down the ice. The shot goes off the shoulder of the netminder, and it's out of play. 16:05 to go in the first period. No score.
Well, we highlighted Justin Earl at the beginning as our player to watch, and he made a couple of really nice plays on that last rush where one was a pass to Bloom up that, and they had a really good opportunity, and that last opportunity for Bloom as well. He's a guy, again, that I talked about this in the pregame. He isn't on the score sheet as much as his fellow linemen, but he creates a lot of opportunities that you don't really realize are happening. But he's definitely a big part of why this line is so successful.
Josh Bloom, 21 goals, 43 points, and he's tied for the league with 3 shorthanded goals. He's also tied for 14th in overall goals scored with those 21 tallies. Puck is sent out to the neutral zone and picked up by Munoz of the Greyhounds. He comes in and it's poked off his stick by Turley. At the line, it's coming in towards Robertson. It just goes wide of the net, and the Battalion are able to pick up that rebound and get it out to the neutral zone. Now it's dumped into the Sioux end, and they look to play that one out quickly. Munoz has it, but he's got to carry that one back just in front of his net. Now he clears. Wakely had it for a second for the Battalion, then lost it on the poke check. And now it's back into the Sioux zone. Carlisle clears it just over the blue line. Wakely's there. He fires it back in. Play behind the net. Control back there by the Greyhounds. And they look to get it out. In the neutral zone, North Bay have it. Now Tarasevich coming in. He's got a chance at the right side of the net, but it cannot bury it. A beautiful pass set up over to the far side to Petrov, but went off his stick and just wide of the net. Now crossover pass to him again, and this time he does not miss. Matvey Petrov, check that. Pasquale Zito was coming in on the far side, and it's Pasquale Zito who gets the goal, and the Battalion are on the board 1-0.
Well, Houlihan might think he's a genius here. He changed up some of the lineup. Generally, it's Petrov, Zito, and McDonald on that second line. They kind of go back to Van Steetzl, Wakely, and McDonald now on the second line. Now the third line is Petrov, Zito, and Tarasevich, and Tarasevich was a big part of why that goal happened, with a lot of great passing that happened there. But what a shot by Zito. He's had spurts where he's looked very, very good, and he's had some spurts where he's looked not as hot as you think he would be. But we get a great look at that shot, and again, Petrov, just a quick look on Petrov. Last night, played his 100th game in the OHL, 53 goals, 87 points for 140 points in that time. What a pickoff Petrov has been, and what a shot by Zito to make this 1-0. Now, the referees are talking between the benches, so we'll see what this is all about. They were talking to, I believe, Nelson earlier. Obviously, Arnsby still out with illness, and also talking with McConnell Barker, who's the captain of the Sioux Greyhounds. They go off, so we'll see what this is all about. Not sure if they're maybe challenging a potential offside, goalie interference. But
It's got to be offside, right?
Yeah, I don't
know what else they would be challenging.
Yeah, it looks like they're challenging offside there. So this one might be coming back. Nelson back out there with McConnell Barker. Speaking of McConnell Barker, the one guy on the Sioux Greyhounds this year picked up, he's a New York Ranger prospect, and what a year this kid's having. He's right now not just leads the Sioux Greyhounds in points, but he leads them in goals and assists, as he has 47 points, 21 goals, 26 assists on the year so far.
And I was going to point out, if it is Pasquale Zito's goal, that will be his 4th in a North Bay uniform in just his 8th game with the North Bay Battalion. It would be his 11th overall. He had 7 goals in 23 games with the Niagara Ice Dogs before that trade. So that just goes to show you that what Adam Dennis has been able to do, even in the Josh Bloom pickup, was able to find guys that maybe it looked like they were underperforming, but you put them in a situation where they're going to get more pucks to their stick, they're going to have more room on the ice, they're going to get to play to their strengths, and all of a sudden, those point totals start to shoot up.
Yeah, we talk about, and that's what we talk about, complementary players, right? When you're with Bloom, when you're with guys like Earl and Jackson who can make things happen, that's huge. And on the other side, when you have Petrov, that's even bigger.
So they're still reviewing it, it looks like.
Looks like we're going to try to get Derek on the phone here. See if he has any information for us.
All right, let's send it down to Derek.
Yeah, not much they're looking at during the goal. Nothing was really going on with the goaltender, so it's just whether or not they're looking at that trip where the defender came off the bench and tripped over the referee, and just seeing how much that impacted the play. It's been a lengthy review for something that seems so simple down here.
Yeah, that's interesting for sure, because generally, as far as I'm aware, I believe the referee's part of the play, right? So it's kind of interesting if this is going to be something that kind of goes against them.
Derek, how huge will this be if it comes back against the North Bay Battalion for the Sioux Greyhounds to not have to be down by a goal early in a road contest?
Well, it'll be really helpful for the Greyhounds to just, you know what, we're going to see the call now, and it's waved off, so we'll have to wait and see what the reason is. I'll see if I can catch an explanation there momentarily.
All right, so we're going to reset the clock a little bit. They're going to take the goal off, so it's still scoreless with 14:50, I believe, still to go in the first period.
Zito back
down to 3 goals, 10 overall on the season.
That's got to be deflating, right?
Yeah.
For a guy who gets a goal and then it's like, yeah, and not to your own fault. Nothing that you could do about it.
Also, it's been a little bit since I've done one of these games. I forgot we had Derek down in between the benches, but he's there now, so now I know he's
Don't
down
worry,
there.
I did not forget about you, Derek.
When I saw Ben Long giving the signal, I was like, what? We have someone on the phone? Anyway, let's go back down to Derek real quick.
That overhead shot just looked like the Toronto Maple Leafs, Matt Murray, as he was adjusting. So maybe it's something that they do up there in the Sioux to help to get their advantage.
Oh, wow. And there goes Derek, ticking off all the Leaf fans who are listening in to this broadcast. So, all right, so we reset. We had 14:40 remaining in this period. No score, just 2 shots to none in favor of the North Bay Battalion. Shot comes into the zone, and the shot from Nelson is going to be called icing. Nelson thought it went off the stick of Petrov and in the zone, but for the North Bay Battalion, I think you just continue to attack that the way you did to set up that goal. Again, you mentioned it, Ben, that Petrov almost scored on that tip-in that just went wide, and then eventually they kept the cycle going, leading to the Zito goal.
Yeah, super, super important. I think they do need to clean up a little bit defensively. Both teams have made a couple of mistakes there, but overall the Battalion have to be happy with how they faced in the offensive zone.
They win the draw, and right now it's Hislop who has it deep in his own zone, gets it up ahead to Petrov, who fires it off the boards to Zito. Zito carried it forward. Now he drops it back to the line, but Tarasevich can't hold the line, and Duarte steals it. Duarte for the Greyhounds. Tries to play it over the blue line into the North Bay zone. He lost that one on the boards, and it's chipped back out ahead to the Sioux blue line. Coming in as Nelson takes a shot, and that one's stopped by Ivanov. Now it's sent back in front to Petrov, and he buries it. Matvei Petrov, and that will be a good goal. The Battalion lead 1-0.
Well, if Zito can't score, I guess Petrov will take the goal. And we talked about this in the last broadcast where Petrov has been a player who he tends to pass first and he doesn't shoot as much. And we ended up getting a goal in that game against Niagara, and it looks like he's shooting a lot more. That was a beautiful feed. And I'm really liking Tarasevich on this line with him. And I think this is going to be a really, really good line. But Petrov doing a great job in that high slot. And if you're the Sioux, you cannot allow pucks getting into the high slot like that. And this can be, Sioux is a team that gives up a lot of goals, so something to keep an eye on. This could be an ugly game.
14th goal of the season, 51 points now for Matvei Petrov on the year. And that one certainly counts. So the Greyhounds behind the 8 ball again. And it's the Battalion right off the draw on the attack. Here comes Romani towards the net. Romani's shot is blocked, goes to the line. Kept in the zone by Winslow. Briefly, though, as the Greyhounds pick it up and send it down the ice. Kotsov and Christopoulos battle for it behind the net. Now it goes to the other side, and that's Moses back there battling with Romani. Puck comes back around to the near side. And it's sent down the ice again. 7 minutes gone in the first period. 1-0 North Bay lead, and they've got control in the offensive zone. Here comes Bloom. The shot just goes wide. Picked up on the far side by Kennedy. Drop back to the line to Ertl. Ertl fires it wide. It comes to the near side boards, and it's sent out of the zone by Virgilio. Picked up in the neutral zone by Hislop. He gets it up ahead to Ertl. Ertl to the left side to Bloom. And Bloom plays it into the near side corner. It's knocked away from that area by the Greyhounds. They get it up on the right wing side to Minosa. Minosa skates down the ice over the blue line and dumps it in. Whipped around the end boards. Picked up there by Kennedy. Turns it over in front of the net, and Robertson has to find it quickly from the sharp angle shot by Dintino.
Well, if you look at the, if we go back to that Petrov and Zito line, one of the things that was interesting was when he was playing with McDonald, it felt like both of them were trying to set up McDonald a lot. And I think by moving them to that third line, it's really allowing them to kind of get back into how they were playing before McDonald came back, which they were really kind of clicking together. And Tarasevic is a guy who can really help out in that spot. And I think right now they're truly 9 strong lines deep, or sorry, three lines deep.
3 lines deep, 9 players. Yeah, absolutely. There's a stretch pass up ahead. Josh Bloom coming in. He puts it on net. And then it's just turned aside by Ivanov. Puck sent down the ice. Picked up there by Nelson. That is the 141st point in Petrov's career on that goal. Here comes Ertl towards the net. Just poked away from his stick. Picked up on the near side board, sent to the point. Turley sends it in, and it's deflected away by Ivanov into the far side corner. The puck ricochets off the glass and comes out of the zone. 11:45 to play in the first period. 1-0 North Bay lead. And that goal for Petrov keeps him at 23rd overall in point production among Battalion career regular season leaders. Down the ice, Minosa again, plays it back to Dintino. It's knocked off his stick, but he gets it back off the boards and plays it to the far side. That's Watson there. In on the corner, he gets knocked off the puck, and it's picked up by Van Steensel as it comes around to the near side, but the Battalion can't clear. There's a chance coming in off the mask of Robertson. Big rebound, but cleared away out of the area and out of the zone. Couple of dangerous moments there for the Battalion, but now they go the other way. Van Steensel's shot just goes wide of the net. Now McDonald on the rebound. He fires it high. Picked up on the far side boards. Coming in is Winslow. He shoots it wide of the net. Down the point, his lob comes in, and that one is kicked away by the goaltender Ivanov into the near side corner. Now played behind the net. It comes right back out in front, but the defense for the Greyhounds are there, and they're able to get it out of the zone. McConnell Barker to Watson down the right wing side for the Greyhounds. Watson pushed at the end of that play, and a couple of players go colliding into the boards as the puck goes to the line. It's Thompson there for the Greyhounds. Gives it to the near side. Now the shot comes in. Stopped by Robertson. Picked up behind the net. The Greyhounds still in control. Down the point. Thompson's there. The shot goes off the skate of Van Steensel, and it's picked up by McDonald. He'll clear the zone and dump it down the ice. 10:15 to play in the first period. 1-0 North Bay lead, but the Greyhounds coming on strong on that last shift, led by the captain. Now they send it down the ice. Christopoulos falls down going towards the puck, and that keeps the play alive in the zone for the Greyhounds. Play in behind the net. Picked up on the far side by Duarte. Plays it back behind the net for Cirizzotti. Carries it down the left side board. Sends it to the point. Played into the near side corner. That's Duarte there. Duarte tries to skate it into the middle. He's blocked. Goes back in the corner. That's Cirizzotti on it. Cirizzotti plays it to the far side. That is Watson there. He plays it in behind the net for Duarte. Duarte into the corner. Plays it back behind the net. Trying to hold it there are the Greyhounds. That is Cloutier on the puck. He plays it to point. Shot comes in and off the glove of Robertson, and it goes to the far side corner. So that's twice now Robertson had a chance to just freeze the puck and stop the play, but it stays alive inside the North Bay zone. It's finally picked up and sent down the ice, and it's Petrov coming in on the sharp angle. Tries to play it to Tarasevic in front of the net, but it's knocked away from his stick. Now it's going the other way. It's Duarte again, but it's knocked away from him. Back out to the neutral zone. Everybody trying to get a piece of that puck as it's bouncing around. Now it's Nelson who finds the loose puck, comes in on the left side. Nelson, the defender, drops it back to Zito. The shot goes wide of the net. Picked up by Kennedy, and Kennedy will now carry it back in behind his own blue line. 8:50 to play in the first period. 1-0 North Bay holding on to this lead. Virgilio has it, lost it. Romani's there in front of the net, and he can't bury it. That one was fired high. Picked up behind the net, Terrien. Lost it now. It's the Greyhounds in control with Dintino sending it out of the zone. In the neutral zone is Precision on the puck. He'll skate back to his own blue line and flip it over to Nelson. Nelson looking down his right wing boards. Now he'll carry it around behind his own net, trying to get around a couple of players in on the forecheck. Nelson gets away from those guys. He'll beat two more, but then at the end, he just could not drag the puck into the slot. And now it's the Greyhounds going on a very short 2-on-1 the other way. And they can't get a shot off as Hislop blocks that play from happening on the back check. Hislop fires up to Terrien, and he kicks it in the zone, and that line will change for North Bay. 7:55 to play in the first period. 1-0 the score. We should be taking our mid-period break on the next whistle whenever that happens. Dentino tries to fire it at the North Bay net. That one's blocked. It's into the corner. Now Watson's there for the Greyhounds. He's trying to move it along the boards for Fantino. Fantino gets it knocked away from his stick, and it's Bloom for the Battalion who finds it. He sends it out to the neutral zone. It's caught. Fantino brings it back in for the Greyhounds. Drops it back to Watson. The shots they made. Rebound chance, and they score. And at the end of about 6 or 7 minutes of continuous play, it's the Greyhounds who come away with the goal.
Well, we see that top line and how really good they've been. They've put a lot of pressure on that. We saw McConnell Barker earlier in that situation where he had an amazing shot on Robertson that he's able to go. Robertson, really great possession there, but we see Fantino, and this is why they got him at the, well, not quite the trade deadline, but the day before, is look at the way he set up that goal. Absolute perfect pass for Watson, who picks up his rebound and is able to score, as it looks like Robertson needs some repairs on his pads there, but absolute fantastic play from that top line, and if there's a line that the Battalion need to shut down, it's going to be that top line, and what a great kind of transition game between both teams. Both teams great opportunities, but obviously it's the Greyhounds who come away with the goal at the end there.
And while we've got a second, we'll say hi to Jason from Timmins, who's listening into the game and watching online. Jason, always a big supporter of the Frontline Game Day broadcast. Not many ways that fans outside of North Bay can stay in tune with the North Bay Battalion, except for what we do right here. So happy to provide that value for you, Jason, and all the fans listening in around the province. Or I know we have some of the friends and family of the North Bay Battalion players who live out of the country will actually tune into our broadcast as well. And if you're just tuning in, it is now 1-1 with 7:26 to go. Calvin Watson just scoring to tie the game for the Sioux Greyhounds. And the thing that comes back to me is Robertson twice in that stretch had a chance to freeze the puck, right? He had it bounce off his chest and he let it trickle away, and then he had one go in and out of his glove, and that just kept the play going. Now the Battalion obviously cleared the puck throughout that series, but you wonder if that could have maybe caught his breath and slowed things down a bit.
And you have to remember he's a rookie too, so those are the things he's going to learn, is rebound control. But as you said, I think that's huge to be able to slow down the game a little bit there. And maybe it could have saved a goal.
So we are all even on the board. 7:15 to play in the first. 1-1 the score. 7 shots apiece for these teams. And the Battalion trying to move the puck out of their zone. They turn it over the blue line on the far side boards. The Greyhounds looking to get control of it. Couple of guys banging away at it over there. Finally, Ertl clears some space, and he gets it up ahead to Jackson. Jackson brings it in over the blue line, finds Bloom. Bloom in, tries to set it to the slot, but it's knocked away and out of the zone. We will go down to Derek whenever we do end up getting that in-period break. He's between the benches tonight. There's a shot coming in. Goes high over the glass. And off the glass, I should say, back in front of the net, picked up by Nelson. Nelson skating down the ice, going down the left wing side, puts it in front of the net, but at the very end runs out of real estate there as the goaltender Ivanov just kicks away that slow-moving puck that ended up in front of the net. Now it's Cloutier the other way for the Greyhounds. He sends it in, and that one's fired just wide of the net. Picked up on the near side by Van Steensel. He fires it up ahead to Wakely. Wakely coming in over the line, gets the puck in front of the net. On the backhand, Wakely is not able to bury it. I don't know if Ivanov got a piece of it or might have gone off the post, but what an opportunity there for Wakely to get the Battalion ahead. But we're still tied 1-1 as Duarte has it for the Greyhounds inside the North Bay zone. He plays it to the point. That's blocked by Van Steensel. Van Steensel plays it up ahead. It's onto the stick of McDonald, who carries it in on the near side corner. McDonald tries to play it in front of the net. That one's blocked. Picked up by Cirizzotti. He'll skate down up ahead to Mignosa now. Mignosa sends it in, It's off the body of Robertson and into the back of the net. And just like that, the Greyhounds have a 2-1 lead.
Well, we saw this actually happen to DeVincentis earlier in the last couple of games, and just not getting close enough to that post, and it ends up finding a spot. And this has been kind of an interesting game where both teams have had, I think, relatively the same amount of chances. Wakely had an absolute insane chance, and we didn't bring the Wakely head, which is probably why he didn't score there, unfortunately. And that line had a lot of great opportunities. That is a goal that definitely Robertson would love to have back, and it's an unfortunate one, but it looks like the Battalion are going to be playing from behind. They try to take out their own players on the bench there.
Okay, so we finally, with about 5 minutes left, have reached our mid-period break. So we'll go to our sponsors, and then we'll go down to Derek.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news, or access the Alumni Job Portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
And we certainly thank Canada College for that. Derek, how are you seeing things from down on the ice as the Sioux Greyhounds have taken over a 2-1 lead?
It's exactly that, Matt. You're exactly correct. Battalion came out strong, scored, put a couple of pucks past Ivanov. Unfortunately, only one of them did stand as the other one ruled off due to the net being off its boards. But it's been all of the Greyhounds since. They've been able to control a lot of the action over the last 6 or 7 minutes and keeping the puck in the Battalion zone and able to capitalize twice on opportunities as they have a 2-1 lead here now. It's just over 5 left, and it's going to be interesting to see how the Battalion can rebound here to create some momentum in the last quarter of this period.
Thanks for that, Derek. And Ben, I mean, we talked about it off the top with head coach John Dean of the Sioux Greyhounds. They didn't play the greatest in the first 6 or 7 minutes of the game, but as Derek said, they've really controlled it since that point, and right now they're sitting pretty with a 2-1 lead.
I think there was a point right after they scored where they could have gotten maybe one more in there, and they weren't able to capitalize, and it's going to be playing from behind right now.
Into the zone, the Battalion are bringing the puck down. Tarasevic knocked down, lost the puck in the process, and now it's sent the other way. Picked up on the near side boards by Winslow. He knocks it to the far side. Into the neutral zone, Tarasevic down the left wing for Petrov. Petrov over the blue line, drops it back to Zito. Zito comes in, skates behind the net, sends it to the right side corner to Petrov. Petrov sends it down, back into the corner looking for Tarasevic. Sends it around to the near side boards for Winslow. Winslow sets it up for Tarasevic on the side of the net. His shot goes off the shoulder of the goaltender Ivanov, and now it's picked up by the Greyhounds, and they get out of the zone with it. Down the left wing, the Greyhounds go offside. 4:34 to go in the first period. It's a 2-1 Greyhounds lead.
I've been very impressed with the second and third line here. I think with Houlihan mixing his lines up here, the third line has tended to kind of quiet over the last couple of games when it was Wakely, Van Stiesel, and Arnsby was in there. Not that they were bad, but they just had some quiet moments. And in this game, it really feels like all the top 9 teams or top lines are all over the puck this evening.
Terrien bringing the puck into the zone off the draw for the Battalion, but he lost it going into the corner. It's flipped around to the near side boards. Hislop holds it there for the Battalion and now plays it down low in behind the net. Precision is back there. He's being hemmed against the boards. Puck comes out of that area, carried up ahead by the Greyhounds. Virgilio over the blue line to the left side. The shot comes in. That one's high. Puck is picked up by Precision. It's a 2-on-1 the other way. Precision down the left wing, across to the right side to Terrien, and he cannot hang on to that pass, but he plays it off the boards. Now goes in behind the net. Try to feed in front, and that one stopped. And now there's some fists being thrown. It's Terrien in a battle with, I believe that's Van de Ven. Check that's Virgilio over there, and this is a good tilt. They're going back and forth, and Terrien brings Virgilio down.
Well, he reminds me a lot of Arnsby, doesn't he? And
yeah.
He's a small guy, but does he fight? Oh my goodness, like he got knocked in, took exception to that. Obviously both are going to be sent to the locker room with less than 5 to go. But they immediately dropped the gloves, and even though he fell down early in the fight, he got up and kind of brought the other player down. And in a way kind of won that fight. That was a really interesting fight between them. Now it'll be interesting to see, are we going to get maybe another penalty? I don't think so, but there is Virgilio down in the Sioux box, so I'm not sure if he's just going to be in there until he gets moved out, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
And then also the strap for the jersey for Tarian went up too. That's going to be some extra time that he's going to miss in this game. So we'll
Matthew Virgilio listed at 5'11", 186 pounds. Jacob Tarian listed at 5'6", and 156 pounds. So certainly the height and the weight advantage went to Virgilio there, but you're right.
It doesn't look like 30 pounds though.
No,
like it looks a lot more. But you gotta give it to Tarian, and he's a guy who he's been scratched. He's been kind of in and out of the lineup.
Yep.
And when he comes in, if he can make those kind of plays, that's what, as a coach, what you're kind of looking for. And he's been around the puck tonight as well.
And it's interesting. I'm not sure what led to it other than maybe he just didn't like the hit.
I think that's what it was. It didn't look like there was anything. There was a couple of pushing, shoving throughout some of the stoppages around the nets, but I think it just came down to he just didn't like the hit at all, or maybe there was something that was said there. Obviously, we're not privy to, and it was fast though.
I think you also have it was fast. Yeah, the gloves came off pretty quickly. I think you got to admire the fact that Tarian, when I looked up, Tarian was on the ice, and Virgilio was already had his gloves off and was ready to go. And Tarian got up, got the gloves off, and then got his punches in too.
Yeah.
So
and he brought Virgilio down.
Yeah.
Wow,
so
that was insane. But the big thing right now for the Battalion, they're down 2-1. They're not a team that does well when they trail after one period.
That's right.
The record, they're 1-9 if they trail after 2 periods. So it's going to be very important for them in this game to try to tie this up relatively soon, and definitely at least tie or go into a lead into the 3rd period. But right now it's all about tying this one up.
And so those penalties will just offset each other here. So we remain with 5-on-5 on the ice with 3:52 on the clock. It's a 2-1 Sioux lead. Jackson was in the circle. He's waved off, so now Ertl will go in. And Ertl wins the draw back. Tried to get it to Bloom. Bloom had it for a second, but it was knocked off his stick and out to the neutral zone. Picked up by Jackson. He'll head back in the other way. Off his stick, and it trickled right towards the goaltender, Ivanov. And so he will hold on to it for stoppage and play. 3:41 to go in the first period. It's a 2-1 Sioux lead.
Going back to that fight, one of the things that you love about having guys like on your 4th line that are willing to drop the gloves is the fact that they're players who don't get a lot of ice time to begin with. So when they're missing 5 minutes at a time, it's not the end of the world. When you have a guy like Arnsby or one of the guys in the top lines, when they're missing 5 minutes, it's not a good thing. So it's great that if you want to stay in the lineup, those kind of things that can get you kind of going, those are the intangibles, man.
Right off the draw, Ertl with a quick shot. It's a blocker save made by Ivanov. Ertl picks up his own rebound. Had a chance wide open, but he fans on the shot. Puck comes to the line, and Nelson quickly on the back check is able to get the puck off the line, sends it back in towards the net, and the glove save is made by the goaltender Ivanov. So the Battalion putting some pressure on now, coming off that fight by Tarian.
Yeah, you got to give it to Ivanov. Here's a guy who was back up, didn't get a lot of playing time. The main goalie for the Sioux goes down with an injury. He's been on. This is his 15th straight start for Ivanov.
Wow.
Between the pipes for the Sioux Greyhounds. And he has been not amazing, but he has held his own and he's kept his team in it. And usually when he gets into trouble, it's because his defense does not help him out at all. But he's definitely been a solid goaltender for them.
He started every game going back to November 27th. Yep. That is quite the stretch. 3:13 to play in the period. 2-1 Sioux lead. Coming into the zone is Wakely. Drops it back to Van Steensel, who gets hit hard on the boards, and the puck comes up to the line. Shot comes in, deflected just wide of the net. Goes to the far side. Sirizotti trying to play it out. Knocked off a couple of skates. Now it's to the line. The Battalion briefly kept it in the zone, but now it's Kluche who has it. Kluche brings it down the ice, passes it to Sirizotti going in the North Bay zone. His pass goes to the line, down the left side. The shot goes high. Played around on the near side. Sirizotti down the point. Back to the right side board. Sirizotti tried a backhand pass, but it was well out of the reach of Ryan Thompson, the former North Bay Battalion, and he has to go all the way in his own zone. Thompson tried to get it out of the zone. McDonald came over the blue line, thought that he had stopped it with Wakely up ahead of him, but the official saying that the puck cleared the zone before McDonald touched it. So, offside is the call.
To the chagrin of the North Bay faithful here. Linesmen are not a very popular right now in this arena.
2:25 to play in the first period. 2-1 Sioux lead. Picked up behind the North Bay net by Hislop as the Greyhounds dump it in. He plays it up ahead to the blue line. Christopoulos gets it out on the far side boards. Now it's knocked right back in the zone. There's a hard hit at the end of that play with, I believe that was Zito running into Montroy. As play continues inside the North Bay zone, the Battalion trying to get the puck out of the area. And it's Hislop who brings it forward, drops it back to Petrov. Petrov flips it around the boards to the far side. Zito is there, drops it back to Tarasevich. Tarasevich back into the corner. Now the centering pass to Petrov, and he fans on it. Had a second chance at it, poked off his stick. Gets it back off the boards, plays it for Zito in the far side corner, and Zito holding it there. Now he sends it down the point to Christopoulos. Christopoulos back to the half boards to Petrov. Petrov back to the point to Christopoulos. Plays it down low to Tarasevich. Tarasevich comes back up high. Now he goes to the slot. Sends it in towards the net. Pasquale Zito was right there, but he could not beat the goaltender Ivanov on two big chances there. Sent back into the Greyhound zone as that line will change for the Battalion. With 1:06 to play in the period, it's a 2-1 Greyhounds lead. The Greyhounds send it down into the North Bay zone. Kennedy tries to play it to the middle, or tries to play it away from the middle. The Greyhounds get back in control of the puck. It's Thompson. His shot from the point is deflected up and over the glass and out of play.
Well, that's at least two huge saves for Ivanov. We saw that on Zito there as he's able to get the pad up against the post there. And then on top of that, we got that really good save in transition against Wakely earlier as well. And this has really just been a great clinic here from Ivanov. And unfortunately, the thing's not really bouncing the Battalion way so far. They've had a goal disallowed, and they've kind of had a goal that Robertson would have liked back earlier as well.
45 seconds to go in the period. North Bay trying to get the puck out of the zone. It's McConnell Barker in control for the Greyhounds. Plays it into the corner. Now sends it around. It's Watson firing it on net, and Robertson is able to find it in amongst some traffic.
Well, obviously, Charlie Robertson, again, is a rookie, right? He's in his first year. He's had a very good start to his OHL career, I would say, so far. And it's awesome when you get the chance to learn from a guy like DiVincentis. And Robertson, again, as we talked about, his rebound control is something that he'll continue to work on. And even if you look at this game, this guy's going to be very good for a long time.
Sends it in towards the net again, and it's another save by Robertson. 8 now on the evening. He's faced 10 shots. Battalion trailed 2-1 with 29.3 seconds remaining.
Well, it's really this top line for this Greyhounds that have been that McConnell, Barker, Watson, Fantino line that has really given the Battalion the most amount of trouble when it comes to offensive zone control. And that's going to be a big thing for the second period. Can they shut this line down? Obviously, it was in charge of at least one goal tonight.
Face-off won by the Battalion. Trying to get it out of the area. It's stuck in the far side corner as Nelson battles for it there. Nelson gets away from an attacker, and he sends it down the ice. Off the body of Petrov, and at the blue line, Petrov sends it in towards the net. He had Tarasevich skating down, but quickly the goaltender, Ivanov, smothers the puck away from Tarasevich.
Well, pretty solid 20 minutes, I think, for the Battalion. I think they've had better chances in this game. They've had more offensive zone opportunities, and I think it's going to come down to when you get into the second period here, the big question is going to be, can they shut this top line down for those two Greyhounds? Number one, can they find the back of the net a little bit more consistently? They've had some chances. This easily could be a 3-2, 4-2 game at this point. 5
seconds to go as it's cleared out of the Greyhound zone. North Bay with control of it in the neutral zone. They dump it in as the buzzer goes. And as you said, Ben, that's 20 minutes in the books. And the North Bay Battalion find themselves down 2-1. Those goals for the Greyhounds, courtesy of Mignosa and Watson, but it was Matvey Petrov scoring his 14th of the season at 6:05 that initially got the Battalion on the lead.
Yeah, and a great start so far for the Battalion. I think they've just got to, obviously Robertson wants that one goal back, but I think for the most part, if you look at it, you got to be a solid 20 minutes, and they're going to try to get back into this game and tie it up early on.
Certainly the start John Dean was looking for the Greyhounds. Now we'll see how his former colleague Ryan Olhan counters in the second period. But to recap and get you updated on everything that's going on around the OHL, Derek will rejoin us for our first period intermission. You're watching the Frontline Game Day broadcast right here on the Frontline Game Day YouTube channel.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, and keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And we're back inside North Bay Memorial Gardens as we've reached the end of the first period of play as the North Bay Battalion trail the Sioux Greyhounds by a score of 2-1. Let's take a look at the scoring summary of the first period as Matvey Petrov got the Battalion on the board at 6:05. Nikita Tarasevich with the alone assist on Petrov's 14th of the season. Then just over 6 minutes later, Calvin Watson, his 18th of the season, tied things up for the Greyhounds at 12:34. Fantino and Kudaratsev with the assist on Watson's goal. And then just under 2 minutes later, Marco Mignosa from Brandon Zirazotti made it a 2-1 game at 14:23. Shots in the first period, North Bay Battalion 13, the Sioux Greyhounds 10. No penalties resulting in power plays in that first period, as we did have one fisticuff as Matthew Virgilio and Jacob Tarian went off for fighting at 16:08. Elsewhere around the league, there is 5 games on the schedule tonight, so let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboards. First off, in Erie, halfway through the second period, the Owen Sound Attack lead the Erie Otters by a score of 4-2. In Peterborough, the Petes are hosting the Sarnia Sting. That game, halfway through the first period, is still scoreless. In Windsor, the Spitfires have a 2-0 lead over the Sarnia Sting, or over the Saginaw Spirit. That game late in the first period, Shane Wright has his first point as a Windsor Spitfire on the second Windsor goal. And the last game sees the Barrie Colts leading the Flint Firebirds. That game just 5 minutes underway, and the Colts having a 1-0 lead. As the first podcast of the new year comes out yesterday, Justin Ertl joined Courtney Kenny, who got to sit down with Ertl and discuss his first year here in North Bay.
I got to ask, I mean, of course, you know, the big story lately, for you personally anyways, is your brother coming into town with the Oshawa Generals. Yeah. First off, let's go through the pregame ceremony. Did they give you an idea that you were going to be the one going out there with your brother?
I honestly had no idea until I put my jersey on and I was about to go out, and then our equipment manager, Mackenzie Campbell, came up to me and just said, "Yeah, you're doing the ceremonial puck drop, by the way." And I was like, "All right, sounds good." So honestly, wasn't really planned, but yeah, that was definitely a really cool experience for obviously my family and as well as myself. So um, honestly, he didn't really give me a hug back, which was little hurt by that, but no, it was definitely a really cool game, and yeah, really just felt weird playing against him, honestly. So but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I gotta ask, you pick up a couple of goals in that first game. Is it better to hold the goals over him, or is it better to hold the 2 wins in a row over him?
We'll say the 2 wins. Yeah, honestly, he got he told me after the game he got a little mad that he was on for one of my one of my goals. He's like, honestly, I can't believe it was you. Like he was just so mad that it was me that ended up scoring that goal. So I think the goals honestly hurt a little more for him, but I'll take the wins for sure.
Now, of course, he wears number 10 for Oshawa. You wear number 9. Was number 9 always your number before? Did you just choose that and that kind of happened to be a happy accident, or?
Yeah, well, honestly, my dad used to wear number 9. That's really the only number I remember him wearing, and both my brothers and I have always worn it growing up. We always wore either 9 or 23. Those were just the 2 numbers that we ended up wearing, but was lucky enough to get 9, and 9 was available. So yeah.
With the game on New Year's Eve, your dad seemed a little bit excited, of course. He's got his 2 sons facing off against each other. He messaged the Frontline account about how excited he was because he was going on about, you're also out there wearing Centennial's colors, so it kind of made it all the more
Yeah,
special.
for sure.
What's it like not only playing in North Bay but wearing those colors out there with the third jerseys?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, there's a lot of pride. It was really cool how they obviously unveiled the jersey and let the fans kind of have that experience, which was really cool. And just to have my dad be able to wear that before me, and now I'm able to wear it, it's definitely a really cool feeling. And I think I've said it before, but like the amount of people that know my dad and tell me to say hi to him is pretty crazy. So you can tell that the fans in North Bay are really really into the battalion and really try to support us as much as they can. So it's really cool to see.
With with that jersey, take us through the unveiling on the player side because I heard you guys didn't even see the jerseys till after warm up.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty funny. Yeah, we like me and Kyle McDonald usually get there pretty early, so we got there early that game, hoping to see the jerseys just hung up in our stalls, but they were the green away jerseys, so we we're honestly a little mad that we weren't able to see them until after warm up, but yeah, I think once the guys came in the locker room, it was definitely a cool feeling to be able to see those new jerseys. So
Aside from the nostalgic pull for North Bay fans with the Centennials colors, and of course your history with the Centennials through your family, um, what's your thought on the jersey? How do you like the thirds?
I personally love them. I think they look great. Um, I think the guys would say the exact same thing. It was funny that that first game we actually ended up wearing. Everyone got extra large socks, so that's why like some of the guys' socks were super baggy. Some guys were taping them, like using half a roll of tape to try and keep their socks up. But yeah, now we're all good. But I think all the boys really like it, and it's a cool little tribute to the Centennials, and yeah, they look really good. So
Now I've asked Ty Nelson, Liam Arnsby, and I asked Charlie Robertson and Pasquale Zito this: tank logo or the shoulder patch? Which one do you prefer?
um, that's a great question. I think they're both really good. I honestly prefer the shoulder patch a little more, but I think the tank looks sleek, and yeah, I honestly don't really have too many complaints about it.
I'm definitely a fan. That shoulder patch is clean. It's so good.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with it. Can't go wrong with it for sure.
And that was our very own Courtney Kenny joined by Justin Ertl of the North Bay Battalion, as that was the newest Frontline podcast. You can go see the rest of that on our YouTube channel, or you can find it anywhere you download your favorite podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or all of those favorite podcasts that you can download. Give them a follow, and you can keep up to date on what's going on with the Frontline broadcast. Well, we're going to bring in Ben Sargent back in for the first intermission. We got the start we wanted as the battalion, but they kind of fell asleep after scoring that go-ahead goal.
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting period because it's kind of hard to unpack because there have been so many opportunities for the battalion to score, and they had so much good offensive pressure. But at the same time, there have been these, especially from that top line from the Sioux, the Greyhounds, that they've had this kind of offensive pressure against them as well. And that's been something that, unfortunately for Robertson, would definitely love to have that second goal back where he couldn't quite get in between the posts, his body in between the posts to keep everything kind of tight. But yeah, it's been kind of an even game so far. I thought this was going to, now obviously Battalion coming from back-to-back games, I thought this game was going to be a little bit less even, especially with the chances that the Battalion have had on offense. But you've got to give it to Ivanov, who's played absolutely fantastic since coming in for relief of Charlie Schenkel 14 games ago.
Yeah, Ivanov has looked pretty solid, even though he has been beaten twice so far. First goal called off due to the post coming off of the mooring, so an unlikely event there, unfortunately, for the North Bay Battalion. But they are able to respond and get it right back. Unfortunately, they're falling asleep. And on the first goal, a little bit of equipment malfunction as the left pad let go from the foot of Charlie Robertson, as he wasn't able to get that full push going from his left to his right.
Yeah.
And then not able to seal off the post on that short side, allowing the Sioux Greyhounds to get that go-ahead goal. We saw a little bit of a physicality as Terrian tossed the fist with Virgilio, so that hopefully gets something going for the North Bay Battalion.
Yeah, and obviously we don't really know what kind of caused it to happen. There was obviously a hit in the corner. It looked clean. It didn't look anything too bad, but obviously something kind of got it. And I think Terrian, again, what I talked about on the during the period was, you know, if you want some guy to fight and do that, it's got to be a guy that's on your fourth line like Terrian is, who's not getting, you know, big time minutes in this hockey game, so you can afford to lose him for 5 minutes at a time. And the big thing too is he won that fight, right? He got Virgilio down onto the ice, and that's always a big thing. It doesn't seem like a big deal to people who are watching or listening at home, but for the guys who they're playing with, it's a big deal, and it can absolutely tilt the ice in your favor.
And that will be interesting to see how the North Bay Battalion come out to start this second period. They find themselves trailing by a goal. They did get that little bit of a momentum boost off of that fight, but after watching basically 4 lackluster periods in the last 2 days, the battalion have to find a way to get their feet moving.
Yeah, you have to remember this is a top team they're the top team in the Central. They're the second best team in the Eastern Conference, second best team right now in the entire Ontario Hockey League, and the Battalion are not playing like it. This is not them playing an 8th place team. It feels like they're kind of even right now. Now, you got to give credit to Sioux, mostly Ivanov, who's kept them in this game. This game could easily have been a 3-2, 4-2 first period for the Battalion. But that being said, there's been some sloppy play with the Battalion that they have given up some prime opportunities in the offensive zone. They haven't been able to get possession when they're defending in their own zone, and it's causing some issues for sure. I think they've been very good on the offensive side of the puck, and I think they've been lacking in the defensive side of the zone. So that's what I mean why it's such a weird period, because there have been times where the Battalion have felt like they've dominated this game, and there's also times where it really feels like it's the other way around. And for the Battalion, they need to figure that defensive zone out, especially when you have your backup in net tonight.
It sure felt like the Battalion came out of a cannon, really had their feet moving for the first half of the period. They find themselves down by a goal. I thought they got a little bit of that momentum back in the last few minutes of the first period. It's going to be interesting to see how the North Bay Battalion come out in the second period of play, as Matt Sukram will rejoin Ben Sargent here on the Frontline broadcast, as it's the Greyhounds leading 2-1 over the North Bay Battalion.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
All right, we welcome you back. I'm Matthew Sukram alongside Ben Sargent. 20 more minutes on the clock as we get set to begin our second period. The North Bay Battalion trail the Sioux Greyhounds by a score of 2-1. Terrien and Virgilio are in the box for their respective teams. And Ben, I think something we might need to watch, and we'll get your thoughts on the first whistle, is on who gets the first penalty in this game. As play is underway, sent around into the North Bay zone. It ricochets off the boards, comes right outside of the zone to Kudratsev, and it's sent back into the North Bay end. Another poke check sends it the other way. Watson chasing for the Greyhounds. Stops, goes in the corner against Bloom, and then the puck comes up to the blue line, and it's kept there by Erdl. Erdl feeds it down low to Jackson on the right side. Back up high, the shot from Christopoulos is stopped. Rebound comes to the stick of Jackson. He skates to the middle, drops it to the right side to Bloom. Bloom skates to the bottom of the circle, turns, sends it in, and a kick save is made by Ivanov. Puck comes up to the blue line again, and Watson's there for the Greyhounds, and he's able to clear. And so a good opening 50 seconds are there for the North Bay Battalion, and now the Greyhounds look to respond as they have control inside the North Bay zone. Pass to the near side boards. It's picked up there by Kluche. Pass to the right side, the shot scores. Duart buries it and makes it 3-1.
Well, we talked about on the in the intermission how it's all going to be how they deal in the offense, in the defensive zone, I should say. They've been playing very well in the offensive zone. Jackson almost had a great opportunity on a rebound, but he was a little bit too tight to Ivanov. And this is just a goal where there's nobody defending on the far side of the ice, and that gives a great open look. And again, when you have your backup in there, that's a save that maybe DiVincentis makes, but you have to remember who's your goaltender there. You got to be a lot better defensively, and that's going to be something. Now it's 3-1. The Battalion, when trailing, 4-8 when they trail after one period. It gets worse after two. When they trail after 40 minutes, they're 1-9, so they need to get a couple of goals back here.
And yeah, the North Bay Battalion head-to-head against the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds this year, they are 1-2 in those contests. McDonald with a shot in. There's a save made by the goaltender, Ivanov. One of the North Bay players went down hard after that play. I think he got his stick up in the mouth, but then on the back end of the play, McDonald was knocked down as well. The trainer, Andrew Satchke, looks at McDonald. He gets up, looks to be okay. So now Satchke runs over to look at Wakely. And now we are going to look at it on the replay. And McDonald got elbowed by Duarte.
And it looked like Wakely got an errant stick right in the face as he was going around Ivanev's net. Not too sure what I feel like there could have been easily 2 penalties on that play, and I feel like they're going to give a high stick here.
They're going to call the high stick to Ryan Thompson.
So we'll see. I guess they got away with the elbow on McDonald, which is unfortunate. It's why you have 2 refs, right? You have one that's supposed to look at the play and one that's supposed to look behind.
And they're going to get the iPad out to take a look. Usually at my house, they're going to get an iPad out to watch some Bluey, but I don't think that's what they're doing down low. And yeah, the elbow, and because it was head contact, can be reviewable now. Yeah. I think this is a good change that they've made. If you've got the technology, let's use it. Something that I will always praise the NFL for. I mean, they have the technology in the NFL. They do use it. Sometimes they still get it wrong. Yeah. But, at least the other leagues are starting to catch up on this.
I think tennis probably has the best system for that.
Yes, you're right.
Soccer's another one there where when you get into like the UEFA leagues and stuff, they have some really, they started doing it with offsides and goals and stuff. And yeah, I think the NHL did a really good job, hockey in general did a really good job with picking up stuff for offsides. Obviously, we're able to look at a lot of stuff. There are some things that you can't review, which are kind of interesting as to like why can't you just review that. But I think it's good that we're able to take technology and get the right call. And I think that's helped a lot. We see it a lot in baseball as well, where it really helps to change the game. And
the biggest thing really is, can they do things to speed it up, right? Can they have an off-ice official maybe 30 seconds behind some of the plays and just being able to review it?
Yeah. They should just be able to look in the future realistically. We need a clairvoyant
That's
to
it.
be able to see this
That's
stuff.
it, yeah. But, I mean, if someone's watching the gameplay from a little further behind, they can see why the play was called and be able to review that. But
I think that's what they like. If you look at the NHL, they have the war room. They have so many people, and in the OHL, unfortunately, they have to wait for the officials here. But the way that McConnell Barker was going back to the bench after talking to the officials, he kind of did not. He kind of went down with his head down. So, and if they can see that, I have a feeling that they're probably going to get the penalty. But Nelson's going to both captains, or I guess Nelson in this case, assistant captain, are going to get the word here from the officials. And there's a high stick and a 4-minute high stick. Maybe they were looking to see. We'll see there. So a double minor on the high stick is a drew blood, but nothing on the McDonald side. So maybe they were just looking at the high stick potentially. I'm not too sure. Interesting if they saw the elbow. I feel like they would call the elbow, but either way.
That's exactly,
If you look at 0-6 though. If you remember, 0-6 last game against Sudbury, talk about power play. This is a perfect opportunity to get 1, if not 2 more back for the Battalion.
That's it, and you mentioned their numbers when trailing after the second period. This would be a big opportunity to tie this one. There's 18:50 remaining, so a lot could happen. But, this is an opportunity. The North Bay Battalion are being gifted here in the early going of this period as they bring the puck into the zone, but they can't complete the pass, and now it's going the other way with Watson in control. He sends the puck to the blue line, but the Battalion get in the way of the pass and are able to get it out of the zone and control it in the neutral zone. It's fed up ahead to Bloom, coming in on the right wing side. Bloom tries to play it down low to Jackson. It's off of his stick, trickling towards the goaltender Ivanov, and he holds on to it for a stoppage in play. So the Battalion now with 3:20 to go on their double minor power play. 17:43 remaining in the second. It's a 3-1 lead for the Sioux Greyhounds.
And where the Battalion struggle in the power play is gaining zone entry because they really struggle, which is crazy. They're a very fast team. And they always seem to struggle getting that control in the offensive zone, and that's something that's really hurt their power play.
Off the draw, the Greyhounds have it. It's Duarte. Skates it up to the left wing side and dumps it down the ice. Zito has it in front of his own net, and he'll turn and go the other way for the Battalion. Zito through the neutral zone, dishes it off to the left wing side for Ertl. Ertl coming in, tries to play it to the middle. It's knocked away by the Greyhounds, but they're struggling to get it out of the zone, and they finally kick it away, and it's out to the neutral zone. Winslow has it there. His pass gets knocked off his skate and goes the opposite direction into the North Bay end, and it's picked up there behind the net by Wakely with 2:45 to play on this extended power play. They send it down the left wing side. It's Zito on it. Zito looking to get it out of his own zone. It's poked off his stick. In control of it is Kotsov. He shoots it just wide. And the Greyhounds with the best chance on the double minor, but they're the ones that are short-handed. Now it's Ertl bringing it down the other way. Stops on the right side. Plays it to the middle. Zito takes a shot deflected and wide of the net. Now Ertl flips it around behind the net to Romani. Down to the point to Nelson. Across to the right side to Wakely. Wakely feeds it into the corner to Ertl. Ertl fires it around the far side boards to Zito. Zito flips it back around on the near side boards to Wakely. Wakely plays it into the corner for Ertl. Ertl knocked off his stick, but Romani has it at the side of the net. He feeds it back down to Zito. Zito to the point to Nelson. Nelson down the right wing for Wakely. Wakely going down low into the zone below the goal line. Into the corner. The puck goes fired to the far side. No one's over there, and the puck comes out of the zone. And there's just a minute 40 remaining in this extended double minor for the North Bay Battalion. They trail 3-1. And there's 15:50 to go in the second period. Here comes Petrov down the right wing side. Petrov stops on the half boards. Flips it in around the end boards for McDonald. He sends it to the far side to Nelson. Nelson plays it to the corner to McDonald. McDonald's pass back up high to Nelson. Now across to Petrov. Petrov across to Nelson. One-time shot deflected over the glass and out of play with 15:35 to go in the period. A minute 12 to go on the power play. Battalion trail 3-1. But man, they had a hard time getting set up on that sequence.
Well, if you didn't know any better, you'd think that the Sioux have one of the best penalty kills in the league, and they're sitting 12th right now. One of the things that were frustrating is that it feels like sometimes the Battalion are playing into transition. We saw this earlier with Zito passing over to, I believe, Petrov, who decided to take a shot instead of bringing it around the net and try to set things up. You've got to set things up, and when you do, you've got to shoot. You got to get pucks to the net, I think, a little bit better when your passing is getting shut down.
And a couple of passes around the back of the net, but it's deflected off a stick and over the glass and out of play. It's a 3-1 lead for the Sioux Greyhounds. They had 2 goals coming into this period, and then Duarte scored a minute 7 into this period. Then at 1:37, Ryan Thompson got called for high sticking and got the double minor. He's still in the box for another minute 6. So the Battalion weren't able to score on the first 2 minutes of the power play, which would have continued their power play, but now they still have an opportunity to get one on the man advantage as Jackson has it, plays it to Petrov across it, Nelson fires it, scores! Kid Nelly on the power play, and it's 3-2.
Well, what did I say? Got to get pucks to the net, and that's something where if you look at the Battalion's power play, they're trying to pass, they're trying to find those spots where they can get in. The Sioux doing a great job of blocking those passing lanes in and around the high slot and circle areas. What do? They give it to Nelson. He gets a relatively open chance, and he's able to bury it. And that's kind of what you have to do to try to get goals in this power play. Sometimes when you're circling it around and your transition game and all this stuff, it's not working. Sometimes you just got to get pucks to the net and hope they go through. And that is an absolutely huge goal for the Battalion now, 3-2.
That is a huge goal, and like we said, lots of time left now in this second period as the Battalion see Nelson scoring his 11th of the season, and now right off the draw, they get it towards the front of the net. It was dangling right on the goal line, but the official waves it off right away.
That was really close. That was very, very, very close. But it looked like it did not fully cross that line.
So play continues now down the ice. It is Sirazati going in towards the net, but he's pushed off the puck at the end of that play by Christopoulos. On the near side boards, Tarasevic has it still in his own zone. Procession behind the net. Gets it over to the far side to Hislop. And Hislop skates it out of the zone. Gups up to the blue line and dumps it down. Ivanov plays it behind the net. Flips it to the far side boards. Pinching in there was Van Steensel, but he couldn't hold the line. And now it's the Greyhounds going the other way. Duarte feeding it up ahead. There's a chance in front of the net. But the defense of the Battalion are able to steer that one into the far side corner. 14 minutes to play in the second period. 3-2 Sioux lead. The Battalion down the ice. Jackson to Bloom right in front of the net, and he fires it wide. That was almost a point-blank chance on that one-timer for Bloom, and he could not bury that one. Ertl gets stopped coming back in the zone on the blue line. Now Winslow tries to follow him in. The puck is on the far side boards. The Greyhounds in control, though. They get it out of the zone. Down the ice is Montroy. Montroy to the left side. Kudratsev's shot is off the blocker of the goaltender, Robertson. Now a chance in front of the net, and he gets denied as Robertson stands his ground. Erdl trying to get a pass up ahead to Bloom, who would have gone one-on-one into the zone, but it's knocked away from his stick. Then it's over the boards and out of play. We'll go down to Derek. It's a 3-2 lead, but the Battalion getting one back on that power play, Derek.
A nice little shot there. Ty Nelson with the one-timer. I was right down the angle sideline from where the puck left his stick to where it entered the post. There was not much there, but it was a seeing eye shot. It avoided the defender's leg and was able to sneak in past the outstretched right leg of Ivanov. And then Tarasevich, thinking he tied things up just seconds later, as a delay now as they take a look to review that to see if it was a cross the line or not. So they're going to have another look at that one.
I believe that was Tarasevich who had possession of that puck. We had a possession a long time there, Derek. What did you see down there with that one on the goal line?
It's hard to see because of the depth, and you can't see if it went past the goal line or not. Tarasevich was right there on top of it. He was assured. Here we're going to see up on the screen right now the angle from the corner cam in the local arena. So we'll have a better view momentarily. Oh, and they cut it off just as it goes to the goal line.
Of course
no
they did.
No goal on the result. So back to you guys up in the booth.
Well, we do know that the goal for Ty Nelson, okay, so that one isn't going to count. That one stopped very quickly, so we're back underway here. Ty Nelson gets the only goal of note here in the second period so far for the North Bay Battalion. There's a shot that comes in by McConnell Barker. Kick save made by Robertson, and the puck comes up to the blue line. Carlisle keeps it in for the Greyhounds. Feeds it down the half boards for McConnell Barker. Knocked off his stick now, and it goes out to the neutral zone. 13 minutes to play in the second period. 3-2 lead for the Greyhounds. McConnell Barker comes in over the blue line for the Greyhounds. His pass is over to the left side to Sirazati. Sirazati's pass back in front of the net, deflected away into the corner, picked up by the Battalion, and they're trying to get it out of the zone from that area now. They get it up to the blue line, but it's caught up in the skates of Zito. Finally, the Battalion find the puck and get it out into the neutral zone. Tarasevich coming down the ice quickly on the right wing side. His shot is blocked, but he gets it back onto his stick, feeds it in the corner. Now it's in front of the net to Petrov, and he scores! Matvei Petrov ties it with his second of the game. It's 3-3.
Well, how about that? We talked about it. You got to shoot. Fortunately, we weren't here, Matt, for that game, but we were kind of going on. Petrov, you got to shoot more. And with that shot, he's a guy that I think can score a lot more than he's shown. And what a play by Tarasevich. He gains that zone entry. He gets that pass off. And in the high slot, Petrov has that puck on his stick for a few seconds before he absolutely unloads it and gets it by Ivanov. But I have loved the way that this Tarasevich, Zito, and Petrov line have played. I feel like Tarasevich has had one of his best games he's had recently, and I think Zito and Petrov have both played very, very good games so far.
Petrov was 8th in scoring coming into this game in the league as the Greyhounds try to regain the lead with a chance. There's a shot. It's caught by Robertson, and he gloves it down for a stoppage and play. I was going to say Petrov, that's 2 goals on the night. He's up to now 15 on the season and 52 points. Again, 8th in the league in scoring. He's going to be climbing up those rankings just a little bit if this keeps up.
Yeah, you got to be happy if you're Edmonton, though. What a pickup for them. He is a special player.
6th round pick. That might be the steal of the draft, right?
Yeah, I think he's easily a second rounder at least.
Had that season not been shut out due to COVID-19, you're absolutely right. So, 12 minutes to go in the second period, and we're all even now, 3-3, and there's been 3 goals scored in this period between the two teams. The Battalion now looking for more. Coming down the right wing side is Nelson. Nelson driving into the zone. He goes in behind the net now. Comes out in front, but he can't get the shot off. Looking to get his own puck back at the blue line, but it's knocked away by the stick of Brown, and the Greyhounds will dump it into the North Bay zone. Nelson picks it up quickly again, sends it down the ice, deflected in the zone by McDonald. Plays it in behind the net. Now it's on the far side boards. And it's the Greyhounds looking for control there. They play it back behind the net. It's stolen. Van Steensel has it coming down the near side boards. Trying to play it to the middle. That one's blocked. Now McDonald finds it on the near side. And his shot wide of the net. It goes all the way to the blue line. Now back into the far side corner. McDonald trying to work in that area. He tries to find Wakely at the half boards. It's knocked away on the stick of Duarte. And Duarte goes the other way for the Greyhounds. Passes to the right side. Coming in the zone. The shot. That goes wide of the net. Over the glass. And out of play with 10:52 to go in the second period. 3-3 the score.
Well, it definitely feels like the ice is tilting a little bit towards the Battalion at this point, and this is something that good teams really do. Even when they're not playing their best, even when they give up a lot of goals, they find the way to dominate. And this is what the Battalion are doing right now, is they're getting all the chances. Even the shots that Robertson has gotten lately have been away from him. Right, these are saves that he needs to make. He's at good position. He's taking them from the top of the circles. And as a defense, that's all you can really ask. And then it's up to him to make the stop. And so far, the Battalion have done a really better job on defense in the last 5 minutes.
They have been trailing since the 14:23 mark of the first period. Able to tie it at the 7:32 mark here of the second. And we're even 3-3 as Montroy goes offside with the puck into the North Bay zone, and so they'll come back out, and this is exactly what you would want if you are head coach Ryan Olhan. You're back to even footing. Okay, now let's restart. 3-3. We've been given a new opportunity to go here.
Yeah, and this is the Battalion's game to lose, not just from the beginning, but right now at this point, because the Sioux Greyhounds are now on their heels. You have the opportunity. This easily could have been a 4-3, 5-3 plus game. There have been a lot of opportunities, and right now I think the next goal is going to be very crucial.
North Bay almost turned the puck over right in the slot, but they are able to recover and get it out of the zone. Bloom on the far side for the Battalion is able to dump it down the left wing boards. The Greyhounds pick it up from that area and clear it, but it clears over the bench into the North Bay bench, and that will bring a stoppage in play with 10:21 to go in the second period.
Well, and you asked earlier about who would get the first penalty of the game. I'm pretty sure it's going to be North Bay's going to get the first power play, as we've seen.
That's right.
But it's been kind of interesting. There's been a couple of potential penalties that just haven't been called, so the referees are letting this game being played. There have been a couple of scraps behind the play. There have been a couple, not a lot of hooks and stuff, but more physical things that could have been called, and we'll see if that's something that maybe they start calling more stuff as we get into the second half of this hockey game. But so far, they've allowed these teams to play, and it's been on both sides. They've let some calls go.
Play back underway. A shot in towards the netminder Ivanov. He makes a stop. And then the Greyhounds are able to clear the zone. Wakely down the left wing side, dumps it in. Play in along the end boards. It's picked up by the Greyhounds. They turn it over in front of the net, but McDonald was not able to get it on the right side of his stick, and so it's knocked away from him and sent down the ice by the Greyhounds, and Robertson has to play that away from the net. Sent to the far side and corner for Hislop. Hislop plays it down the left wing boards for Van Steensel, and Van Steensel gets it up to McDonald. McDonald dumps it into the near side corner for Van Steensel. He plays it over to Wakely. Wakely back around the boards to the near side. Pinching in is Christopoulos, but it's knocked away from him. And McConnell Barker goes the other way for the Greyhounds. Gets it in over the blue line. McConnell Barker's shot comes in. Kick save made by the goaltender Robertson. But the puck is still alive inside the North Bay zone, controlled by the Greyhounds. The puck goes to the far side. Up in the air, along the boards. Now it's brought down, and it's played up ahead to McDonald of the Battalion. He sends it down the left wing for Van Steensel. Plays it to Nelson coming in. Nelson, drag move, plays it around the far side, but he can't get the shot off. Now picked up behind the net. That is Zito there. Zito skates it to the line, and he leaves it there for Turley. Turley to Nelson. One-time shot. He scores. Kid Nelly with his second of the night, and the Battalion lead 4-3.
What an absolute rocket of a shot from Nelson. And Nelson's been around. He's made a couple of rushes that you can tell that he wants to put the puck in the net. And that's what assistant captains and leaders of this team do. He's trying to put this team on his back, and two huge goals, one power play goal, and now this one here to give them the lead. It's the Battalion's game to lose right now. They have taken over this game so far.
Ty Nelson with his 12th goal of the season. He was third in defensive scoring coming into this game, fifth in goals overall by OHL defensemen, and eighth among all players in the assist category. He does not have one of those yet tonight, but those two goals have just been, like you said, seeing eye bullets from the point. And now the Greyhounds looking to respond. They got a shot in, and it's turned aside by Robertson and cleared down the ice. 8:40 to play on this icing call. And we'll get Derek back in when we get a word in from our sponsor. It's 4-3 North Bay halfway through the second.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news or access the Alumni Job Portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
All right, Derek, it's 4-3 North Bay halfway through the second period. 3 goals here in this second period is just what the doctor ordered for the Battalion.
Exactly what the doctor ordered, was a little bit more shooting. This is the reason why Ty Nelson is at the top of the OHL in shots, as he's got that wicket one-timer as he converted twice here in the second period. Just want a quick note on that second goal. Braden Turley picked up an assist, and that's his first career OHL point. So congratulations to Braden Turley as he picked up his first point in the OHL on that go-ahead goal by the North Bay Battalion.
It's almost
Absolutely.
like Julian knows what he's doing when he brings him into the lineup.
Yeah, that's it. That's absolutely awesome to see. So you have a guy who has scored now his 12th goal of the season in Ty Nelson, his 45th point in 38 games. And then on the flip side, a guy who gets his first in his OHL career.
Yeah, the best thing about that goal, too, McDonald's right in front of that net, ready for any rebound. He's also there for tips, so I love how getting bodies in front of the net can help a lot, too.
8:30 to play. The puck is inside the North Bay zone. Nelson has it behind the net. He carries it down his right side boards, and he's got speed going the other way now. Gets around a couple players, carries it in on the left wing side, takes a shot, and it just goes wide as it deflected off the stick of a Greyhound player in front of the net. Nelson was going coast to coast on that play, but just could not get the puck to go the other way.
Yeah, easily the best game that I've personally seen from Nelson in a little bit, as he's been very on the offensive side this evening.
Sent into the Greyhound zone by Tarasevich, but the Greyhounds pick it up in the corner. They're trying to clear the area. It's stopped at the blue line. Petrov flips it into the far side corner. Tarasevich battling for it over there. Procession trying to go in and help him out. The puck comes loose. It's to the line. Christopoulos to the left side. Hislop. Hislop down in the corner for Tarasevich again. Tarasevich looking to try to get out of that area as he's hounded by a couple of Greyhounds on the boards, and now the puck is just frozen in that area. It finally comes away, and the Greyhounds skated out of the zone. Coming down the right wing side, Virgilio drops it back to Dintino. Plays it around behind the net, goes to the far side corner, looking for Montroy. Knocked away from the stick of Montroy, and it's Procession carrying it back down the ice. Procession sends it off the end boards, trying to get that hometown bounce to Terrien, who is traveling down the left wing side, but didn't bounce the way he wanted to. It instead deflected behind the net, and so that allows the Greyhounds to carry it out of the zone and back down the other way. Montroy in over the blue line, dumps it in behind the net. Battle back there. The Greyhounds come away with the puck from that area, then a hit thrown on the boards, and the Battalion are able to get it out. Sent down the ice. Terrien skating in. He's going to beat out the icing call. He's going to get control of the puck, but Thompson throws him in the corner. Now Terrien and Thompson battling on the near side. Puck comes away from that area. It's flipped to the far side boards for Winslow. Winslow plays it back behind the net for Omadi. He feeds it to the point, and Jackson couldn't hold it at the line, so he flips it over to Christopoulos in the near side. Christopoulos plays it back down the right wing. And as they brought it back in, the whistle was blown. And they're calling it offside. Oh, one player on the far side didn't clear in time for the North Bay Battalion. So, 6:21 to go in the second period. North Bay lead 4-3.
You got to be very impressed if you're Ryan Oulian with Terrien's play this evening. He's a guy he hasn't been around the puck too much, but he's gotten into a fight, and he's really done a good job with his speed in that last play, giving them an absolute chance. So Terrien's got to be doing some good things when he gets into that lineup.
And like you said, had to miss 5 minutes because of the fight, but made up for it on that next chance, right? Play back underway, 6:04 to go. The Greyhounds coming down the ice. The pass back to the line is out of the reach, and now it's Ertl going the other way. Justin Ertl to the left side, the shot coming in. It's stopped, rebound chance, and they can't bury it. Puck cleared up to the blue line. Nelson chases it down in the neutral zone, turns on the Jets and comes back in the zone. But on the dump in, he lifts it too high, and it's over the glass and out of play. 5:45 to play in the second period. It's a 4-3 lead for the North Bay Battalion, who are out shooting the Greyhounds now 26-16, or 20-16.
20, yeah. Ty Nelson is really looking for that hat trick. Can you tell? Like, I think at first it became he wanted to get his team back in it, and now it looks like he's looking for that hat trick, as he has been bringing that puck in, and he's had his opportunities for sure. Definitely a very, very good game offensively for Nelson, and obviously always doing good stuff on the defensive end.
Wakely tries to play it to the middle. We'll try to get Derek back in one more time before he has to head back up here for the intermission segment. But as play continues, it's the Greyhounds Kluche who brings it in. Coming down the left wing side, going into the corner. Flips it around to the far side boards. Hislop looking to play it out, and he does get it out. Into the neutral zone, it's Wakely over the blue line to the left side, draws back, the shot coming in, big time save by the goaltender Ivanov. And Derek, what I wanted to ask you about is how important it is for the Battalion to keep the pressure on now that they do have the lead. When they went up 1-0, they really let the Greyhounds take over, but now it doesn't seem like they're letting the Greyhounds take over now that they do have the lead here.
No, and that's the message coming right from the coaching staff on the bench. You can hear them telling their players that is not enough. That one goal lead is not enough. We got to keep going. We got to put the pressure, and we got to keep the puck in the offensive zone.
And thank you, Derek. That's where it is now. Back to the blue line. Shot comes in. Kick save made by Ivanov, who is increasingly busy as this game goes along. Procession keeps it in. Plays it into the corner. But it's the Greyhounds who have it there, but they turn it over. Procession had a chance there, played it to the left side to Romani, but the poke check was made, and it disrupted that play. North Bay get it back. At the blue line, Christopoulos sends it along the end boards, and they can't hold the line as it came all the way to the top. And now it's Brown going the other way, 1-on-1. Brown shot comes in. Big save made by Robertson in between the pipes for the Battalion.
Christopoulos almost getting caught there trying to make a play, but he was the only one left. But he's able to come back and kind of keep it from being a two-goal, a straight breakaway.
4:15 to play. Puck still inside the North Bay zone. Romani down the right side gets the puck free, and it's sent down to the Greyhounds blue line. The Greyhounds almost turn it over the line. They have to play it back in their own end. Van de Ven finally clears some space, gets it up ahead to Brown for the Greyhounds, but Brown, no luck this time going in against Christopoulos. And Christopoulos has the puck. He clears it down the ice. He had it on the stick of Petrov, but it's just out of the reach. Petrov is really reaching for that one, but it was knocked away from his stick at the end of the play and then cleared by the Greyhounds. Puck inside the neutral zone. It's Petrov coming back in, gets around a defender, goes in on the left side, finds it to Zito in the middle of the zone, but Zito couldn't get a shot off as the Greyhounds attack him and not allow him to get a clean shot off. And now it's the other way. Brown's coming in. The shot save made by Robertson of the Battalion. Played down the point. Another shot comes in, and Robertson makes a save and holds on to it. 3:15 to play in the second period. 4-3 North Bay lead. It seems like they are controlling the play, but the few chances they're giving to the Greyhounds are turning into scoring chances.
Yeah, and Watson was the big catalyst in that play. He stops that pass to Zito. He strips him of the puck. He brings it down, almost gets a great scoring chance. Outside of McConnell Barker, Watson's a guy right now, 37 games, 37 points, 17 goals, 20 assists. He's a guy you got to watch, and he almost had a glory. Obviously, was already found in the back of the net tonight, and he has to, you got to watch him, and he's had a couple of great opportunities.
Yeah, he got his 18th goal of the season to tie things 1-1 back in the first period. Here we are, 3 minutes to go in the second period, and it's once again a one-goal game. Battalion with the advantage, 4-3, and the Battalion with the puck in the neutral zone. Kennedy's dump in is knocked off a skate, and it redirects right back into the North Bay zone, and Bloom picks it up there, feeds it back down the right side boards, out to the neutral zone, but it's Fantino who finds the puck. Fantino skates to the far side. His dump in is blocked. Now it's the Greyhounds at their own blue line, and they do send it all the way down the ice this time. Deflected just at the blue line. It's whipped around the boards. Picked up on the near side by Ertl. Ertl gets it out to the neutral zone, but it's Kluche who finds it for the Greyhounds. He gets it up to Carlisle. Carlisle's attempt to get in the zone is blocked, so now he gets the puck back and plays it all the way back to his own blue line to Virgilio. Virgilio in the neutral zone, tries to play it up. It's on the stick of Duarte, and Duarte carries it in over the blue line, drops it back to Sirazati, and Sirazati's shot just goes wide on the blocker side of Robertson. Puck ends up in the far side corner. That is Cloutier there. Cloutier's pass to the point. Connects. Now it goes down low to look like Gibson there. Gibson plays it in behind the net to Duarte. Duarte's pass in front of the net. Comes up high to Virgilio. Virgilio's shot is blocked by Van Steensel, and he kicks it in the corner. Puck comes out of the corner in front of the net, picked up by Kennedy of the Battalion, and Kennedy is able to dump it down the ice. A minute 43 to play in the second period. 4-3 North Bay lead, and they keep fending off these waves of attack, and now it's up ahead to McDonald, coming in the breakaway. McDonald drags it to the far side, but he can't bury it on the backhand. Boy, he had Ivanov way out of position, but just could not finish the play. And now after the play, McDonald runs over Andrew Gibson on the back end. And now the whistle goes, and the trainer will come out to take a look at Gibson. And now in front of the penalty boxes, there's some pushing and shoving going on. It seems like everybody's got a dancing partner down there now.
He's not out there, though. He's slacking. Yeah. But McDonald, he just unfortunately cannot quite get the handle on that puck. He did everything right. He got Ivanov down on the ice. All he had to do is get it up, and unfortunately he couldn't. A little bit of frustration there, as he did have a clean hit there from McDonald, but he's a big man, and it looked like he was holding his right arm when he went down, so maybe somehow it clipped or it hit maybe he had his elbow or something hard when he came down. But yeah, I mean, even with the padding, it can definitely hurt. I definitely can't see there being a penalty on this.
Getting a look at the McDonald play, and you're right, he did everything he was supposed to do on that play, dragged it around, had him beat, but just as he was trying to dish it off, it looks like
And remember, he's coming off injury. Those are the plays that I think he's gotten back into the goal scoring, but he's trying a little too hard at sometimes, and it's been getting better. However, as thankfully it looks like he's off the ice, getting scored off by the trainer.
Gibson looks like he's able to skate off under his own weight here. Yeah, I was gonna say he's hobbled over a bit, but yeah, he
definitely will go to the locker room at this one. But definitely a clean hit from McDonald. But that's one that for McDonald, he's frustrated, and he takes that frustration out on Gibson, unfortunately, who kind of has his back turned to him, and then he turns around to play the puck and says hello right in his face. But I can't see there being any sort of penalty on this play, as Nelson talking to the officials there.
And again, the Battalion are the only ones that have a power play so far in this game.
Yep.
So you got to think that at some point the refs are going to even things out. Maybe. I mean, we're getting down to it now with 1:17 to go in the second period.
And the big thing is, leading after 2 periods, the Battalion are 21-0-1. So it's very important for them to hold this lead in the next minute 17, because if you go by the stats, they're definitely in their favor for the last 20.
And a dominating 13-2-0-1 here at Memorial Gardens. So playback underway, just over a minute to go. Puck inside the neutral zone, bringing it over the blue line. Mignosa plays it into the corner, into the North Bay zone. The puck comes out of the corner, and Robertson had to make a quick kick save. Puck at the blue line, kept alive in the zone by the Greyhounds. Played down low behind the net. Puck stolen by the Battalion. It's flipped around on the near side boards for McDonald, and McDonald gets it out to the neutral zone. Virgilio runs it down, but he turns it over. Wakely comes in over the blue line offside, as Pasquale Zito was a step ahead of him. And after the play, Wakely was shoved into the boards, and that's going to bring everybody back over.
And we've seen some pushing and shoving even before Terrian's fight. We saw some pushing and shoving before, and now they might get some penalties here, as they might
just look to even things out, right?
Yeah, the referee might just be trying to calm this down, and it looks like McDonald's going to the box. But this is just kind of one of those games where it's going to continue, or maybe it's going to be coincidental, as also going to the box is a Sioux player as well. It looks like Dantino. So this is kind of one of those things where the referees are trying to slow this down a little bit. They get McDonald off the ice, which is nice. It looks like it's going to be 4-on-4 is what the referee said. But yeah, right now it might be a really scrappy third period if this keeps going, and don't be surprised if we see another fight. Maybe Terry gets out there again.
I was going to ask, do you think that the coaches go in the locker room and say, guys, calm down?
Yeah.
Right? For the Battalion, we're ahead by a goal. We need to focus on that. For the Greyhounds, they got to find a way to maybe tie things up, and maybe it comes here on 4-on-4. as those 2 penalties are, resulting in a minor for each guy. But here come the Greyhounds driving into the net. The backhand shot is stopped by Robertson. Goes into the far side corner, picked up there by McConnell Barker. He carries it around to the near side. Still holding on to it as he goes to the corner. Now he skates down to the half boards. At the top of the circle, McConnell Barker still on it. Winslow finally is able to get it off of his stick. With 5 seconds to go, North Bay going the other way. Zito to Winslow, coming in, the shot, scores! Avery Winslow with 1.5 seconds left on the clock in the second. Winslow gets the goal to make it 5-3.
And you know who's on the ice right now? It's Zito, it's Petrov, it's Nelson. Who gets the goal? Avery Winslow, guy who hasn't put a lot of points on the score sheet so far. But man, what a big goal! That might be the dagger in the heart, depending as we go into this third period. But what a beautiful pass from Zito there, just to find Winslow, and then Winslow, with knowing he has time to get one by Ivanov. What an absolutely fantastic goal. And I was going to say, this 4-on-4 is something that might benefit the Sioux Greyhounds when you look at Watson and McConnell Barker on the ice.
Well, it didn't benefit them in those 30 seconds that were left, and they will head to the locker room down by 2, thanks to Avery Winslow and his first goal of the season to give the Battalion a 5-3 lead. We'll let Derek and Ben break all that down in our second period intermission. You're watching the Average Joe's Game Day broadcast right here on the Frontline Broadcast YouTube channel.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And welcome back inside Memorial Gardens as we've reached the second intermission here as the Battalion have scored 4 unanswered goals to take a 5-3 lead into the mid-period, into the dressing rooms. Let's take a look at the second scoring summary as the Greyhounds took a 2-1 lead into the second period to start. Mark Durant, his 15th of the season at 107, made it a 2-goal game as the Greyhounds took a 3-1 lead. Kluche with the assist on Durant's goal. Then the Battalion started going and clicking as they scored 4 straight. The first one on the power play is Ty Nelson, 11th of the season at 4:48, made it a 3-2 game. Petrov and Jackson with the helpers on that goal. And then Matvey Petrov tied things up at 7:32. His second of the game, 15th of the season from Zito and Tarasevic. And then Ty Nelson's second of the game put the Battalion up into the lead at 11:02 as he put his 12th of the season from Turley and Zito. That's Braden Turley's first OHL career point. And then Avery Winslow closed out the scoring at 19:58 with his first of the season from Pasquale Zito. And that's how the Battalion have gone in with a 5-3 lead. Shots in the second period, the Greyhounds 12 for a total of 22. For the Battalion, 11 for a total of 24. Battalion with the only man advantages, and they're 1 for 2 in the power play statistics. Looking around the OHL on this Thursday evening, 4 other games going on. As in Erie, it's now the Owen Sound attack leading the Otters by a score of 5-4. That's just over 6 minutes remaining in the third period of play. In Peterborough, the Petes have a 2-1 lead over the Sarnia Sting with 5 minutes left in the second. As the time is running down in the second in Windsor, the Spitfires have a 5-2 lead over the Saginaw Spirit. As just taking a look, Shane Wright still with only the 1 assist in that game so far for his debut as a Windsor Spitfire. In the last game, 13 minutes remaining in the second, and the Barrie Colts have a 3-0 lead over the Flint Firebirds. Well, Ben, welcome back to the second intermission. A different story for the North Bay Battalion in that second period as they respond with 4 straight goals.
Yeah, and this is a very important game, I think, for both teams. As we said in the pregame, you have the Sioux Greyhounds who are coming into a 3-game road trip. They don't play well on the road. They're trying to change their fortunes, and I'm going to be honest here, they've played a very solid 40 minutes so far. Their defense has been solid. If you look at the goals the Battalion have scored, they have been they're not in transition. They're goals that have been when they have offensive possession. We've seen Nelson's shots from the point, Petrov, a shot from near the high slot. So these are goals that you know if you look at a guy like Ivanov could have had, even though they might be a really, really good shot. But I think the Greyhounds have played relatively really well. That top line of McConnell, Barker, Watson, and Fantino have really put the pressure on the offensive side of the zone. The Battalion, on the other hand, are playing a very strong offensive game. This could easily be a 6 or 7-3 game. I think of a couple of things. The Tarasevic puck right on the goal line. We see McDonald, who was so close to a goal. Obviously, they get a little fortunate with Winslow getting one with about 1.5 left on the clock. This is a game, though, I think that the Battalion have to come out in this third period, and they have to show you why they are so good at leading after 2, and they've got to shut the door, and I think they will. It's their game to lose at this point.
Exactly. They sure look like a different team in that second period. We wanted Petrov to shoot more. He's got 2 now. The goal along with an assist, 3-point night. That line of Petrov, Tarasevic, and Zito really clicking, and the Jets are sure showing on that line.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting when Arnsby comes back. Now, we're not too sure. Adam Dennis a couple of days ago did say it's going to be a few games. It could be. I don't think we're going to see him on Sunday. We might see him when they go in next week when they host Hamilton or Mississauga, I would think is going to be the most he'll probably come back in either one of those 2 games. But it'll be interesting, how do they deal with this? I think the second line of Van Steezel, Wakely, and McDonald have played also very, very well. And I like this lineup more than I did how they had it before, when Petrov, Zito, and McDonald were the second line, and you had Wakely, Van Steezel, and Tarasevic on that third line. I think Tarasevic is playing better this game. I think Petrov and Zito have clicked the way they did, and they haven't really clicked that way since they've been with McDonald. And sometimes line chemistry is a very fickle thing, and I think they found the right mix right now. The question is, do you move Wakely over? Who gets moved down? Where does Arnsby slot in? It's going to be very interesting when he gets back in this lineup.
Yeah, this team definitely has an overload of centers, as Arnsby should slot back into that center role, forcing Wakely out to a wing position. But let's talk about those 2 goals by Ty Nelson. One-timers from the point. It's almost like that's what the Battalion almost have to do if they want to get the power play clicking.
Yeah, I think so. I was talking about this during the power play very quickly when they're between whistles, and one of the things they struggle with is offensive zone entry. They struggle getting the puck in. We've seen a transition in a situation where, I can't remember exactly who had the puck, but instead of shooting, they should have held possession and gained. They didn't have a really good opportunity to score there. What they should have done is held possession, wait for their entire line to come in, and allow that puck to move on the outside. They're struggling right now putting the puck east and west in their own zone. So yes, getting Ty Nelson those shots at the point are going to be absolutely impressive. And we saw the kind of shot that Nelson has so far, and you can tell he's had a couple of rushes on the net. He's trying for his hat trick, and we'll see if him or Petrov get there.
Exactly. Just want to touch on a couple of firsts in that period. Braden Turley picking up assist on Ty Nelson's second goal, his first career OHL point. And the one thing I want to say is down there on the ice level, it was Ty Nelson that made sure that puck was saved for Turley. So a very special accomplishment for Braden Turley. And then Avery Winslow with his first goal of the season gets that monkey off his back. He's only played, this is his 13th game for the Battalion tonight to go with 3 assists already in the season.
Yeah, and I think when talking about Ty Nelson, that shows just how much of a leader he is on this team, obviously wearing an assistant captain badge. And we've seen that on the ice as he tried to put it on his back when they were down 3-1 with some of these offensive spurts. And we see that, as you said, with Turley trying to make sure he gets that puck back. And I think he's done an absolutely fantastic job so far. For Winslow, though, it's got to be hard. You come back from injury, you find yourself on the third defensive pairing. Basically, your pairing with Nelson is gone with their acquisition of Hislop, and they've gelled so well that I can't see Winslow going back into that top pairing. So now it's like, well, where do I find myself on this team? And I think so far he's played really well with Christopoulos so far, and I think him being more of a defensive-minded player can really, really help when you look at Christopoulos, who's more of an offensive-minded. We've seen him pinch a couple of times. Obviously, one time it almost it kind of led to a breakaway and transition for the Sioux Greyhounds, but I think Winslow is going to really find a home on that second line. We'll see what happens, though, when Lucan comes back in the lineup.
Well, one of the regular features in the second period is we take a recap of our Mike, the financial advisor, players to watch, and we'll take a look at those 2 players now.
Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike the Financial Advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.
Our player to watch tonight for the Greyhounds was Mark Durrott. He has 1 goal on the night, so he's been lucky enough to get on the score sheet the 3rd goal for the Greyhounds with 2 shots, 4 for 8 in the face-off dot. And Justin Ertl for the North Bay Battalion, a -1, 1 for 1 in the face-off dot. Ertl's line just really haven't been clicking much offensively in the zone today.
And we talk a lot about the Battalion's depth, and we've seen this before where that top line has struggled before on 5-on-5 to produce points and to produce opportunities and stuff in the offensive zone. And that's where those second and third lines really come out and show that depth. If imagine this team where Bloom, Jackson, and Ertl were the only scoring threats in this game. The Battalion wouldn't be scoring necessarily a lot of goals in games where they get shut down by the opposition. And I think that's where that can really help when you have guys like Petrov, Zito, McDonald, Wakely, Van Stietzel in that kind of bottom, in that middle 6 forwards. And Ertl's a guy that he's been around the puck a little bit, but yeah, there just hasn't been a lot of opportunities for him to get on the score sheet so far.
Well, the trade line just passed on the 10th of January. A couple of big trades on the deadline. Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference first and see how things kind of shook down. The Barrie Colts really didn't do much other than adding defenseman Braden Hatch from the Kingston from the Frontenacs. A little extra defensive depth for the Barrie Colts.
Yeah, and the Barrie Colts are kind of an interesting spot because right now they're in that situation where they're not looking at are we going to make the playoffs or not. They're looking at playoff positioning, right? And if you can get into that top 3, it's going to be very hard for them to surpass teams like North Bay and Ottawa, obviously. But they're looking at top 3, top 4. If they can get a situation where they can play a 5th or 6th seed, that's kind of what they're hoping to get. And I think right now, obviously, the trades just weren't there for them. And shoring up some of their defense is never a bad thing.
For the Peterborough Petes, they added, after adding Owen Beck, they went out and got Cam Govero from the Saginaw Spear, getting a little bit bigger on the defensive zone. The big news, though, was the Ottawa 67s, as they came away with 2 of the top 3 scorers in Logan Morrison and Minchikov from the Saginaw Spirit.
Yeah, and if you're North Bay, when you see those trades, you've got to be a little kind of down in the dumps when you look at how much better Ottawa's, from being a very good team to now being an even better team when you've got the top 2 scorers, or 2 of the best scorers in the league in Morrison. You look at Minchikov, he just went 10th overall to the Ducks in the last draft. This guy's a defenseman, and he has 16 goals, 38 assists for 54 points in 37 games. Imagine Ty Nelson with more points. That's basically what you're getting in a guy like Minchikov. And, man, you got it. Ottawa absolutely slayed this deadline so far. What an absolute great pickup for them, and they only just continue to get better on the offensive side, which is not good news if you're a Battalion fan.
And really the big news of the day was the Shane Wright acquisition by the Windsor Spitfires. It was Shane Wright and Kingston's 14th round pick in 25 going to the Spitfires for a pair of players along with 7 draft picks. So the Windsor Spitfires coming out on top, really the winner of the sweepstakes for that day.
Yeah, and Windsor right now is sitting second behind London in that Western Conference. And interesting, there were some rumors that were put out there that London was going to get him. I know we were talking about this before game, and even the game before when these rumors were coming out. The Wright camp, not very happy with that. They go to Windsor, who is the team right behind them who's chasing them, so London not too happy either. But what a great opportunity for Wright to get a chance. Not just the fact that he's going to have an absolute great chance to flourish in the Ontario Hockey League again, but more importantly is look at who he's playing under. A former NHL player in Mark Savard, and you've got to be so... There's so many things that he can learn from this stint. I don't think he's going to be in this league next year, but even if he is, I think Windsor is probably the absolute perfect fit, and there's a reason I think Seattle and his camp wanted him to go there, and there's not much more you can say about that.
No, Windsor was the finalist last year of the OHL Cup, losing out to the Hamilton Bulldogs. Well, there's 20 minutes left here at Memorial Gardens as the Battalion head into the third period with a 5-3 lead. Matt Sukram will return with the call of the third period action, joined by Ben Sargent here on the Frontline broadcast.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
Welcome back. Third period just about to get underway. I'm Matthew Sukram alongside Ben Sargent. It's a 5-3 lead for the North Bay Battalion, and both teams have a minute 21 to play, 4-on-4, as we get set to start period number 3.
Yeah, big thing here for the Battalion is, and this is what they do so well, as we talked about how good they are with third period leads. It's all about defending, and they've got a 2-goal lead here. It's going to be an uphill battle for the Sioux Greyhounds in the last 20.
Play is underway as Josh Bloom has it in the neutral zone, flips it across to the right side to Jackson, who overskates the puck, and now it's picked up by McConnell Barker. He gets over the North Bay blue line, cuts to the right side, plays it back to Virgilio to the left side. Coming in, the shots they made, rebound is smothered by the goaltender Robertson, and that was a big opening save to this period for Robertson.
Yeah, the last thing that you want is to give momentum right to the Sioux Greyhounds right away. Something to kind of keep in mind as we talked about how rough and there was kind of some tension building at the end of that second period. We're going to have to keep an eye on that and see, were these coaches, both John Dean and Ryan Ulan, able to tell their guys, okay, we get it. Their tempers are high. Can we just kind of settle things down here and not get into penalty trouble?
In behind the net, that's Matvei Petrov working already on a 3-point night. 2 goals and an assist for him. He drops it back for Christopoulos, who brings it through the neutral zone, and then puck just kind of slid off his stick, but he corrals it back in the corner, sends it across to the far side point to Winslow. Winslow in the corner for Tarasevic, who goes back to Petrov with a one-time shot from the point, but it's stopped by the goaltender Ivanov, and that is going to be his 20th save of the game. Was just waiting to see if they changed that. No, 20th save of the game.
I think if you're John Dean, you got to be really happy with the way your team's come out and played again. Battalion are in the top of in the entire OHL, let alone just the Eastern Conference. And this is a team. This is a game where Sioux has come out and they've played really well this game. They haven't allowed the Battalion really to dominate, and they've kept this game close. And now, what's happening though is the Battalion, who are the better team out of these two, are showing why they're so good.
The Battalion only have one more game this weekend. They will host the Flint Firebirds on Sunday afternoon here. Winslow fires it in and out of the glove of Ivanov. It goes to the middle, then Zito sends it to the near side boards, and the shot comes from that area. It's wide of the net, picked up on the point by Christopoulos. He sends it down into the corner. Now comes back up to the top of the far side circle for Zito. Zito stops, waits, and was pressured on the boards, and he's pressured off the puck, and that allows the Greyhounds to get it out of the zone just as the offsetting penalties expire. So McDonald is out on the ice now, as well as Dentino for the Greyhounds, and McDonald comes in the zone, takes a shot, but it's blocked by Carlisle. And the puck comes to the line, back down low to McDonald, and he fires it wide of the net. McDonald's had a couple of big opportunities in this game. Play still alive. Nelson with a shot towards the net, that stopped. McDonald picks up the puck, turns, faces the net, but he fires it high over the glass and out of play. And like you said, that's just getting back into the rhythm of things, right?
Yep.
Trying to find that release point again after being off for a long time with an injury for McDonald.
Yeah, he's talking about missing about 18 games for Kyle McDonald, and he's got a couple of goals. Like he had 2 the other day against Niagara, and look, he's going to get there, and I think it's just going to take another couple of games, but so far you've got to be happy with what he is, and you have to understand there's a lot of pressure on McDonald. He's in his overage year. He has not been drafted. He was with the Ottawa Senators. He played a little bit in Belleville, but he's got a lot riding on this season.
McDonald off the draw, spins, fires, and it's a save that's deflected away by the goaltender Ivanov. It goes into the near side corner, picked up there by Van Steensel, plays it to the middle. McDonald looking for the puck, he finds it, carries it to the right side hash marks, pushed down in that area, but the puck goes behind the net for Van Steensel. Van Steensel lost it back there, but now he gets it back, finds McDonald, sends it to the point. Kenny's shot comes in, stop, rebound chance is fired wide by Van Steensel. Now Wakely on the far side boards, trying to keep the puck alive in the zone. Feeds it to the point to Kennedy. Kennedy, pressure on the boards as well. Feeds it to Wakely again. Wakely flips it around the boards. It comes to the near side. Picked up there by Virgilio. And he gets it out of the zone. And that was a much-needed breather there for the Greyhounds. But Nelson brings it right back in. Takes a shot blocker. Save made. The rebound picked up on the near side boards by McDonald. McDonald skates through one player. Gets to the middle. And he scores. There it is. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it as Kyle McDonald buries it to make it 6-3.
And he was around that net the entire game, and you thought, is this guy ever going to score? And he finally puts one by Ivanov. And this is what I was talking about Ivanov before, is he's a really solid goaltender, but he definitely has some holes to his game. He's playing in his 15th straight game. He's a backup goaltender normally, and we're seeing some of the holes here in kind of losing your top goaltender. And McDonald with an absolute bullet of a shot, and finally is able to find the proper release point, make this a 6-3 game. And at this point, if you're the Battalion, you want to keep offensive pressure. You've got a 3-goal lead, and it's going to be a hard one for the Sioux Greyhounds to come back in.
Absolutely. As play resumes now, it's Ertl on the near side. Lost the puck going into the zone. The Greyhounds carry it back in, further into their zone, although they had a chance to clear, but now they do clear it. Comes up to the blue line. Hislop got the stick up high on Van de Ven, but no call coming. Van de Ven, a former member of the Powassan Voodoos, who are right now tied with the Greater Sudbury Cubs 2-2 in the third period in Sudbury. Watson coming back into the zone for the Greyhounds. He takes a shot Fires it high over the glass and out of play. It's 6-3 with 16:29 to go as Kyle McDonald has scored here for the North Bay Battalion to make it 6-3. And that's his third goal now in his last 3 games.
Yeah, and McDonald's is, again, he had those 2 goals against Niagara. He's starting to find his presence. The one thing I really like McDonald in the second line is he brings a physical presence as well. He's a big man, and you can really see that when he's playing, especially with some guys like Wakely and Van Steetzl who are a little bit shorter than McDonald, and I think that really helps as well with a little bit of the grit on that second line. And he's definitely finding his way, and this is what the Battalion do so well. They haven't played the best game, but they've turned it down when it counts.
That's right, and they've taken advantage of the goal-scoring opportunities that have been given them. I mean, 6 goals on 30 shots, right?
It could have been higher, too. Some of those goals went the right way. You look at the Tarasevic goal, or right on the line. If you look at Kyle McDonald earlier, almost had a great opportunity. This could easily have been 7, 8, 9 to 3 at this point.
They got a goal waved off against them early on.
So even though it looked closer, the Battalion have played, I think, a better hockey game than you might think. But this is what an elite team does. They shut it down when they need to shut it down, and we saw that in the last half of this game.
That's McDonald's 12th goal of the season for the 6'4", 217-pound right wing out of Ottawa. Having a great final season here in the OHL. There's a play towards the front of the North Bay net, and Robertson kicks it away as the Greyhounds give them credit. They have not gone away this entire game. They've certainly had some defensive lapses, but they have put pressure on, and they've done it so quickly in transition, too, that most of their goals have really come out of nowhere of these 3 goals. So they're looking to see if they can recapture some of that magic with 15:30 to play in the third period, and here they come. Sirizati to the right side. Duarte plays it back in front of the net, batted away by Robertson, punched to the far side corner, and it's picked up there by the North Bay Battalion and cleared. Petrov bringing it in over the blue line, feeds it up ahead to Nelson. Nelson tried to just bank it off in front of the skate of Carlisle, but it just went wide of the net. Puck still alive in the Greyhound zone, but the Greyhounds have control of it. As it's carried out by Cloutier. He dumps it down towards Robertson, and he'll hold on to it for a stoppage and play. 15:01 remaining in the third. It's 6-3 for the North Bay Battalion.
And now that there's a 3-goal lead, we might see a little bit more of the scrappiness come in. You got to give Robertson a lot of credit. Yes, he did have that 1 goal that he'd love to have back, but for the most part, he's kept them. I think he's kept the Battalion in this game when it was a 3-1 game, when it was a 3-2 or 3-3 game. When it was close, Robertson has been there to make some of the bigger saves, and the Battalion have done a good job of not allowing those 2 Greyhounds too many high impact shots. But for the most part, Robertson has really stood on his own, and he's still a young guy, but there's a lot of potential there for him.
Playback underway. Christopoulos has it. Immediately banks off the boards and clears it down the ice. It's a foot race to it, and just beating out Van Steetzl for his Mignosa, but he's hauled down behind the net. The Battalion had a chance with the puck, but Dentino takes it away, and he sends it up ahead. Watson coming in, drops it back to the right side. The shot coming in from McConnell Barker is stopped by the goaltender Robertson, and McConnell Barker takes a hard spill going into the corner at the end of that play.
Yeah, and it looks like he's coming up now, too. But what a great play by, I think Robertson did a really good job on this puck. McConnell Barker was coming in. He looks like he might take a shot on the short side, but Robertson sticks with him and is able to put position. He made a really nice save, and it didn't look that impressive because of Robertson's positioning. And I guarantee you, he probably learned that from his battery mate in DeVincentis, who's also amazing at getting that body position. And what a nice save, a nice read by Robertson there. As that's a deadly tandem. Watson and McConnell Barker, they're the 2 leading point getters for the Sioux Greyhounds, and man, they're a good pair.
Yeah, and they've created some chances tonight, but
especially Watson. Watson has done a great job.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for all it shows though, McConnell Barker is just a -2 with 4 shots on net tonight, and Watson does have the 1 goal, but is a -1 with 6 shots on net tonight. Coming in to the zone is Erdl, trying to dance in front of the net, had a chance, but at the very end of it, his stick was held down on the defensive side by the Greyhounds. Now it's Watson coming in again. Yeah, they're going to get a lot of ice time in this third period as Watson leaves it on the boards for Fantino. Fantino plays it around behind the net for McConnell Barker. McConnell Barker sends it towards Robertson, but he holds on to it for stoppage and play. Now Fantino is the third guy on that line.
Yep.
Julian Fantino, haven't talked a lot about him, but he's got an assist tonight playing up there with McConnell Barker and Watson.
Yeah, and this is his first game as a Sioux Greyhound. Obviously, he was picked up from Owen Sound, I guess 2 or 3 days ago on the 9th. And yeah, he's not a guy who has a lot of points this season, but what they're looking for is they want to try and get him some more points on that top line, and so far it's already worked.
There's a shot in towards Robertson, in and out of his glove. It was just sitting there on the doorstep, but the Battalion cleared out of that area. There's a hit in the corner, takes down a Greyhound player, but the puck bounces back out in front, and Robertson is forced to make another save. 13:38 to go in the third period. It's 6-3 North Bay.
Yeah, and Tarian giving up that puck, almost a really good opportunity there for the Sioux Greyhounds. But yeah, it's been, at this point, if you're the Sioux, you're just really trying to get some opportunities here. Watson, I think out of the two of them, between McConnell Barker and Watson has definitely been the guy who's gotten behind the lines of the defense of the Battalion. He's been the guy who's been very fast in picking up the puck, and he's been very impressive this evening.
Playback underway as the Battalion win the defensive zone draw, and they send it into the Greyhounds area. Thompson back there for the Sioux. He plays it to the far side boards, and it's chipped out to the neutral zone. Kennedy picks it up for the Battalion. He plays it back up ahead, and it's Zito coming in. 3 assists on the night for Pasquale Zito as he's holding on to it on the far side boards. Switches spots and gives it to Tarasevich. Tarasevich tried to center it, but it's knocked off his skate, and Petrov will have to chase it out of the zone. Zito with 9 points already in his Battalion tenure. He gives it to Petrov coming in. Petrov trying to cut through the middle, but he's pushed back to the outside. The puck goes to the near side boards, and it's picked up there by Dentino. He gets it up ahead to Mignosa, who finds Kostov. Kostov gets it over the blue line, but very quickly Petrov gets in the way and clears the puck back out to the neutral zone. Tarasevich is there, tried to feed it through the blue line to Zito, but he got blocked entering the zone, and now it's the Greyhounds who have control, and they move it back the other way with Moses getting it up ahead to Brown. Brown gets stopped at the blue line, and now some neutral zone play back and forth with 12:25 to go. Puck sent into the North Bay zone with Winslow picking it up. He sends it around to the far side boards. McDonald's there. He feeds it to Wakely. Wakely tried to feed it back off the far side boards. Now he'll just pick up the puck himself and skate out of the zone and send it down the ice. 6-3 lead for North Bay as they have control now in the offensive zone. Wakely behind the net tried to set it up in front. That got blocked, and now it's the Greyhounds going the other way with Moses down the right wing side. Stops in the near side corner. Plays it along the end boards, but then Christopoulos disrupts that play from happening and gets him off the puck. It goes out to the neutral zone. Brown fires it right back in. This is Sirizotti coming in on the left wing side. Plays it in behind the net, but now he lost control of it, and it's McDonald who will hold on to it for the North Bay Battalion with 11:30 to play in the third period. He launches it down the ice. It gets past the stick of Van Steensel, and then it went off the end boards for the icing call.
You got to give credit to the Sioux Greyhounds as well. If you look at shots on net, they're 30-29 in favor of the Battalion. The Greyhounds have done a great job of putting pucks on the net, and Robertson has done a great job, obviously stopping them a little bit more than Ivanev. But yeah, if you look at this game again at 6-3, it's been kind of an interesting game because there's been moments of domination from the Battalion, but there's also been a lot of retaliation from the Greyhounds as well. And I'm telling you, even though this game is probably going to end up in a loss for the Greyhounds, you got to be happy if you're Dean for Sault Ste. Marie.
Down the ice, out of the North Bay zone. McDonald was coming down. He's getting long shifts too, eh? He's been out there. Anytime he's out there on the ice, he's out there for quite some time, maybe 2 or 3 face-offs if need be. Puck inside the Battalion zone. Behind the net, Nelson has control of it. Nelson working his way out to the neutral zone to find Jackson. Jackson gets roughed up going in over the blue line, but he's off his stick. He's able to feed the puck in the corner, but very quickly the Greyhounds send it the other way. They try to play it in front of the net. That play is broken up by Hislop. He gets it up to his former Saginaw teammate in Bloom. Bloom feeds it up to Ertl. Ertl across the right side to Jackson. Jackson was trying to control that puck and settle it down to get a shot off, but never could do it before the Greyhounds disrupted that play and sent it back down the ice. In the neutral zone, the Battalion fire it right back in, and now behind the net in the Greyhounds' end. The Sioux turn it over. They play it on the near side boards. That's Jackson there. Jackson lost it, and now it's Watson coming out. Plays it to McConnell Barker on the right side. McConnell Barker's shot right into the glove of the goaltender Robertson for a beautiful save there.
That's going to be his best save of the evening so far.
I think so.
As he was going kind of cheating off to his right, and then McConnell Barker tries to send one back to his glove side, and he reaches out. Robertson, again, he's been, I think, a lot better than... he's definitely settled down after giving up the first 3 goals. One of those goals, again, is what he definitely liked to have back, but Robertson's looked very good when he's in net for DeVincentis, and it looks like he might pick up yet another win here this evening.
Duarte scored his 15th of the season at 1:07 in the second period, but it's been Battalion. It's been all Battalion since then. And again, like you said, credit to Robertson for having to make some saves. Back down the other way. Here comes Mignosa towards the net. His pass goes off his stick, and it's redirected into the back of the Battalion net. So don't go anywhere just yet. It's now 6-4 with 9:38 to go in the third period.
Just an unfortunate goal as he gets behind Robertson there, and then they bank it off his leg and in. And that's another one that I think he kind of wants to have back, but not much he can do in that case.
All right, let's go down to Derek. No, we'll wait for the in-period break to go down to Derek, but that's not coming up yet because there's a goal. So with OHL rules, they do not go to the in-period break on goals or penalties or icings. So
very similar to the NHL in that with their advertising.
So 9.5 to play in the third period. 6-4, the North Bay Battalion lead. Tarasevic drops it to the line to Christopoulos. Christopoulos fires it in. It's a blocker save made by the goaltender Ivanov. Flipped around on the far side boards. Petrov's shot comes in just wide of the net. Picked up by Kluche, and Kluche clears the zone. Christopoulos trying to fire it right back in, but Duarte blocks that. He carries it in over the blue line, finds Sirazati. Sirazati lost it going in over the line, and now it's Zito feeding it up ahead to Tarasevic on the far side. Tarasevic's pass is picked up, and here comes Duarte back in the zone. His shot is blocked off the skate of Turley, and Turley picks it up now behind his own net. He feeds it over to Petrov, and Petrov gets it out of the zone to Tarasevic. Tarasevic with some speed going into the zone. Stops, feeds it to Zito on the half board. Zito plays it back behind the net for Tarasevic. Tarasevic into the circle on the near side. Couldn't get the pass going the other way. And now it's the Greyhounds who come out of the zone. Watson to the right side looking for Duarte. It's knocked away from his stick and sent to the far side boards. Picked up at the blue line by the Greyhounds. They feed it to the half boards. Now they send it into the corner. Back in behind the net for Duarte. Duarte skates to the left side, takes a shot, save made by Robertson. We're halfway through the third period. North Bay leads 6-4. We'll take a break.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news or access the Alumni Job Portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
Tonight's 3 Stars is brought to you by Dave's Automotive Services, 411 Airport Road in North Bay. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect from Dave's.
All right, let's go down to Derek. Derek gets a 6-4 game for the Battalion. Both teams scoring once in this third period, but the Battalion holding on to that 2-goal lead. Oh, looks like we're having some technical difficulties, so we'll try to get Derek in later on in the broadcast. But I want to update you okay, we've got him now. Let's go down to Derek.
Yeah, it's cut tech time now for the North Bay Battalion after they gave up that last one to cut the lead to 2 now. It's time to check your defensive structure to see this is the game that you need to hold on to. 2 points against one of the lower seeds in the other conference. Very important this time of year to come out with the 2 points when you got a late lead like they do today.
Play back underway. McDonald has the puck on the far side boards. He flips it out of the zone. It will go the length of the ice. Play back in front of the Sioux net. Wakely's there, but he sends it right into the glove of the goaltender Ivanov. Just to update you, the game day broadcast will be back on the air on Saturday as the... do we have a Voodoo's game this week? Tomorrow. Friday night. Against the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners. Has that game been rescheduled? Because right now it's saying that it's in Kirkland Lake. We'll get our schedule sorted out. Stay tuned to all our social media for all the updates. It's
We don't worry about that stuff.
7:54 to play in the third period. It's a 6-4 North Bay lead. And here come the Greyhounds again. There's a shot on net. And it's off the shoulder of Robertson, and then he smothers it on the blue paint. So, with a 2-goal lead with 7:44 to go, Ben, the Battalion, again, a lot of the goals for the Greyhounds just come out of nowhere. So it's not like you can take a step off at all.
Yeah, and Robertson has done a great job. I think, honestly, if you look at the difference in this game, I think it has been Robertson. He's made a couple of great saves when it was tight. He's made a couple of great saves here while they have the lead. The biggest thing right now is it feels like the Battalion are taking the gas off the offensive pressure. They're allowing way too many opportunities in the defensive zone. They need to get back into the offensive zone. And Wakely, we don't have the head, and that's why he's not scoring today.
Yeah. Here come the Greyhounds back into the zone. The shot just wide of the net. They had Watson set up in the area. I think these guys have been out every second shift in this third period here.
And every time it's Watson making something happen. This guy's a special player, and you can tell why he's on that top line.
Sent to the line. The shot comes in from Van de Ven, and it's just wide of the net. I don't know if that actually hit Robertson or if it got deflected and went the other way. But here come the Battalion going the other way. It's Jackson in the zone. He tried to drop it back to Bloom, but good job getting in the way of that play was Watson. And Watson carries it all the way down in the North Bay zone. Takes a shot, and it just goes wide of the net. Ricocheted off the boards and comes out to the neutral zone. I think he's trying to impress you, Ben.
Yeah, I know. Who else but Watson? Like, every time there's a great chance on Robertson, who is it but Watson? And, man, what a game this guy's having.
6:40 to play in the third period. It's a 6-4 North Bay lead. Play on the far side. It's Romani with it. Romani sends it up ahead. It's off the skate of Terrien and controlled by the Greyhounds. On the blue line, right at the North Bay zone. Getting out of that area is Hislop. He sends it down the ice looking for Procession. Procession was held onto there going into the zone.
Yeah, the refs are not calling a lot of stuff today. They're letting a lot of stuff go.
Now Thompson the other way. He gets hit coming into the zone, lost his helmet, but there's going to be no call coming up against the Battalion on that one.
I'm waiting for the fisticuffs to go at this point. Yeah.
The hands got a little high on that play. So we continue with 5:50 to go. Dintino coming in the zone. He gets knocked down going towards the net on the hit. Puck comes up to the blue line. It's controlled by Kudratsev. He puts it on front of the net, and Robertson had to make a kick save, and the Battalion are able to clear it down the ice.
They got very, very lucky. Nelson missing, letting the two Sioux Greyhounds in front of the net empty, and very lucky they got turned around. Kluche
coming down the right wing side. Dumps it in the zone. Tries to play it along the end boards. He's got Turley there pressuring him. Puck comes to the near side circle. Kudratsev is pushed off the puck. And Petrov finds it on the boards, sends it to the middle to Winslow. Winslow down left side to Tarasevich. Tarasevich and Petrov coming in the zone, and he just fires it wide. Looking for the top corner on the glove side. He just could not find the net. And now it's Duhart the other way. Plays it to the right side, in behind the net, carrying it. Sends it up to the middle, but Van de Ven overskates the puck there. It comes to the near side boards. It's picked up by Zito. Zito clears the zone as he gets it up to Tarasevich. Tarasevich jumps it in, and it's Carlisle who picks it up for the Greyhounds. Gets it out to Kluche. Now back up to Carlisle. 2-on-1. Sarasati to Duhart. He dangles, and he cannot beat the goaltender Robertson. 4:30 to go as the Greyhounds starting to put the pressure on again here. They trail 6-4 in the third period. Puck at the line. Kluche can't hold it there. And now the Greyhounds will have to retreat. Kluche from behind the blue line, fires it right at Robertson. It's off his pads, and he leaves it there for McDonald. McDonald sends it through the neutral zone, trying to get it to Wakely. Wakely overskates it. Van de Ven has it in the neutral zone. Van de Ven sends it back in on the right side boards as Christopoulos gets it for North Bay. Christopoulos looking down his left wing, sends it up to Van Steensel. Van Steensel over the center ice line, sends it down the ice into the Greyhound zone. It goes off the far side boards, and the Greyhounds are able to clear, carrying it down the left side. Looked like Brown there. Check that McConnell Barker as he sends it around to the near side boards. Nelson throws a hit on Virgilio, but he gets it down behind the net to Fantino. Fantino plays it into the near side corner, but Nelson gets there for the Battalion, and he's able to fire it out of the zone to McDonald. McDonald tried to send it towards the empty net. The Greyhounds have pulled the goaltender for the extra attacker. They trail by 2. It's 6-4 with 3:20 to go. The Battalion in the neutral zone, fire it back into the end. McDonald's right there at the empty net, and he scores.
Wow, McDonald, not just was that an empty net goal, but that was impressive because he beats out the icing on that. He wanted that more, and he beats out the icing to get the very easy empty net goal after just missing earlier. And one of the nice things about this kind of transition game was it ate up about 4 minutes of the clock. The bad thing, though, is that the Sioux Greyhounds have outplayed the Battalion when it goes in that kind of style of transition to transition. And Robertson had to stand on his heels there. And honestly, Robertson almost deserves the first start in here because this could have been an ugly game if he didn't step up a couple of times when this game was close, and I think in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
The Battalion matching their season high. Check that. Their season high is 9 goals. They've scored 7 goals by my quick count. 5 times this season they have scored at least 7 goals.
And 4 times in the last handful of games. If you look at it, Sudbury, in the last handful of home games, Sudbury 7-3, Oshawa 7-3, Niagara they scored 7. Here they've scored 7. They've scored over 31 goals in their last 5 games at home.
And check that. This is their 7th game where they've scored at least 7 goals. I mean, that is impressive.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to talking about the power play numbers. I mean, this is a team that has scored 161 goals, but only 27 of them have come on the power play, which is ranked 18th in the league. Although they did get one tonight, and it was a big one at the time.
Yep.
They now lead 7-4 with 2:28 to play.
And even though they've kind of been outplayed in this game at times, it kind of goes to show you the better team tends to find a way to win, and that's kind of how the Battalion have played tonight.
Mignosa carries it through the neutral zone, over the blue line, takes a shot, just goes high. Rebound chance is stopped in front of the net as well. Erdl picks up the puck and sends it down the ice. Bloom beats out the icing, takes a shot on the goaltender Ivanov, but he makes a save.
Well, I'm kind of waiting here for there to be a little bit more scrappiness, but these referees have let a lot of stuff go. There was at least the last trip in their last play that easily could have been called, but yeah, I'm not too sure if I'm a huge fan of it, but thankfully this game hasn't gotten too scrappy because of it. But yeah, the referees could have easily have lost the handle on this game, I think, if this got any worse.
Yeah. And again, I think it was in the intermission. The coaches must have done a good job on trying to calm those tempers down a little bit, as it's been a pretty even-keeled third period. Just the one power play overall in this game, and it just happened to be a double minor that the Battalion scored on. 1:40 to play now in the third period. 7-4 North Bay lead. Here come the Greyhounds down the ice. Dentino gets knocked off the puck on the end boards. Picked up by Jackson. Fed up ahead. Down the right wing side, it's Erdl. Erdl skating in. Takes a shot just wide of the net. Justin Erdl is the guest on this week's episode of the Frontline Podcast, so make sure you download that and tune in as he sat down with Courtney Kenny for an in-depth interview. 1:10 remaining in the third period. 7-4 North Bay. There's a hard hit in the near side corner in a dangerous area. And again, the arm stays down. It was right in front of the official, and nothing comes of it. Last minute to play now. There's a shot in towards the goaltender Ivanov, and he holds on to it for a stoppage in play. Again, it was a 6-4 lead at the time. They pulled the goaltender. They give up the empty net goal, and there's still over 3 minutes to play. What do you think of that decision by John Dean to pull the goaltender with that much time?
It's kind of surprised me because I didn't even realize the goalie left until we saw McDonald have that opportunity with the empty net. I think it was a little bit too late, and I think they should have done it when there was more pressure in the offensive zone, but they tried it, and then unfortunately it didn't work for them.
Play underway inside the Greyhound zone. To the point, the shot comes in from Petrov, and it's fired high. Now it's Christopoulos at the line. Feeds it down low to Petrov at the circle. Petrov gets it knocked off his stick, but Christopoulos has it on the boards. Feeds it in around behind the net. Zito can hold it back there, but now he gets it back. It's right on the doorstep. Lost in a bunch of skates, and then it comes clear out of that area. Picked up on the far side by the Greyhounds, and they skate out of the zone with it. 10 seconds to go. Here comes Petrov on the breakaway. He just lifts it high as he was looking for the hat trick there. He won't get it, but the Battalion will win by 3 goals and make it 5 in a row for the home side as they defeat the Sioux Greyhounds 7-4.
Well, we keep talking about how this 8-game stretch is so important, and the Battalion are doing exactly what they need to do. They are now 5-0 after this win here, and they continue to be very strong at home. You look at the Sioux, very struggling on the road. They start this 3-game road trip off on a bad swing. On the other side, though, the Battalion come out and they do exactly what we've seen them. They score another game with seven goals, and they come out and even though the Sioux played a really, really good game, this really came down to the Battalion being the better team, and they showed why. And it's going to be off to, they're going to be now hosting Flint, and they're looking for kind of the same, more of the same as what we've seen tonight.
Yeah, I think out of the 4 goals that Robertson gave up, there's probably 2 that he probably had no chance on, and then there's the other 2 that he probably would have wanted back. So when you look at the game tape, I think you're okay. If you're Charlie Robertson, then that's a pretty good home start for him, while the North Bay Battalion take it 7-4 over the Sioux Greyhounds. We'll take a break, and then Derek and Ben will break down this one for you on the post-game show. You're watching the Average Joe's Game Day broadcast right here on the Frontline Broadcast Channel.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sucrum, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And welcome back inside Memorial Gardens, where the North Bay Battalion have defeated the Sioux Greyhounds by a score of 7-4. Let's take a look at the scoring summary of the third period. The Battalion went into the third period with a 5-3 lead, and they got off to a start again as Kyle McDonald got on the board, his 12th of the season from Ty Nelson at 2:48. The Sioux Greyhounds cut that lead back to 2 at 10:22 as Jordan Diatino with his 16th of the season from Nick Noza and Virgilio. And then the Battalion wrapped up the scoring with an empty netter. Kyle McDonald, his second of the night, 13th of this season at 16:42. Braden Hislop with the lone assist on that goal. Let's take a look at the shots on goal. In the third period, the Greyhounds 13 for a total of 35. Battalion 11 for a game total of 35. Also, in the specialty teams, the Sioux Greyhounds never had a man advantage. Meanwhile, the Battalion went 1 for 2 on the power play. Taking a look around the OHL, 4 other games on tap tonight, as two of them are now a final also, as the Owenstown Attack have defeated the Erie Otters 6-5 in overtime. The other final has the Windsor Spitfires defeating the Saginaw Spirit by a score of 7-4. Shane Wright with a goal and assist in his Spitfire debut. Late in the third period, the Sarnia Sting lead the Peterborough Petes 3-2. And the last game, just getting started in the third period, sees the Barrie Colts 4-0 over the Flint Firebirds. The Firebirds will be here in town on Sunday afternoon. That's a 2 o'clock puck drop. That's the next game for the Saginaw, for the North Bay Battalion. Taking a look now at the 3 stars as brought to you by Dave's Automotives.
Tonight's 3 stars is brought to you by Dave's Automotive Services, 411 Airport Road in North Bay. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect from Dave's.
As expected, all stars from the North Bay Battalion. His third star went to number 27, Pasquale Zito, 3 assists and a +3 on the night for the troops. Second star with 2 goals, 1 assist, Matvey Petrov. And first star also with 2 goals and an assist, flying around the ice, Ty Nelson. While Ben Sargent, the Battalion came away with another 7 goals again on back-to-back home games as they defeat the Greyhounds 7-4.
Yeah, and this was a very important one, I think, for the Battalion. The Sioux Greyhounds played a great game. They're coming out, they say, hey, John Dean said his team has played absolutely fantastic at home lately. He's very happy with them, but they played poorly on the road. This is now their 6th straight road loss. They're going to play 2 more road games. The Battalion are kind of on the opposite end, right? They're playing a back-to-back game. I think for playing a back-to-back, they played much better than when we saw them play that back-to-back earlier a couple of weeks ago against Oshawa. But what the Battalion have done very well in this game is they just were the better team. And even though they did struggle at times, yes, what happened was they were able to put the pucks they were able to put the pucks through Ivanov. They were able to get the better chances, and Robertson was a huge point to this game. Robertson, I think, saved this game for the Battalion when they were down 3-1, when it was close, when it was 4-3, even when it was 6-4 there for a while. I think Robertson was really a big difference maker in this game.
Definitely. He looked a little shaky there to start the game, letting in a few weaker goals on some rebounds that he let out and a couple bad moves left to right, not sealing off the short side, but did turn things around and was able to really hold key when it was needed for the North Bay Battalion. I thought that third period, Kyle McDonald really wanted something to prove in that third period, scoring not only a regular goal, but also adding the empty netter. He was shooting the puck like I've never seen before.
And whenever he scores a goal, especially when he's been around the puck, you can see that he's very kind of like, finally I got a goal. And he was around the puck a lot tonight. He was big. He had a huge hit earlier in the game on Gibson that forced him kind of out of the game for a bit. And then we saw him just kept trying to shoot and get a go. And I really like the chemistry that he had with Wakely and Van Steetzl. I think that's very good. They're both guys who can set up McDonald really well, that can make things happen. And what more can you say about that third line as well? Petrov, 2 goals. Zito, 3 assists. Tarasevic looked fantastic. I think right now the big point of this game offensively have been from those middle 6 forwards, and we saw them play a very good game this evening.
Yeah, it's really hard to really rate those lines 1 to 3 as they can almost output the outputs basically doesn't matter who you get it from. The numbers are going to be there, and we saw it tonight as it was the Tarasevic line with Petrov and Zito doing a lot of the action early, and then McDonald chipping in with a couple of goals in the third period. Just outstanding how well the troops really played. It was a difference between the first period and what we saw in the second and the third.
Yeah, and I felt like as soon as we hit that kind of 10-minute mark of as soon as we got to the second half of the game and the 10-minute mark of the second period, I think the Battalion turned on the Jets and they put on the pressure. They were able to take the lead. Obviously, Winslow a big goal right at the end to kind of really put the air out of the lungs of the Sioux Greyhounds. But the Greyhounds did punch back. There was a chance there with about 8-9 minutes left that it could have went the other way. But at the end of the day, the Battalion hold on, and they do what they do so well, which is keep the leads after 40 minutes, I should say.
Well, the North Bay Battalion are back in action on Sunday afternoon as the Flint Firebirds are in town. Firebirds currently 6th in the Western Conference. The Battalion have to get out to that early start again.
Yeah, I expect the same kind of game that we saw tonight, but I think they've got to play a more solid 20 minutes. Instead of playing 30 minutes of solid hockey, they've got to play a whole 60 minutes, and that's going to be a big deal. Flint is one of the better teams that they've seen in this kind of stretch, and they're going to have to show why they're a top team in the OHL.
While looking at the NOJHL quickly, one of our other teams that we follow here at the Frontline Broadcast, the Powassan Voodoos, fell tonight to the Greater Sudbury Cubs by a score of 3-2. They'll be back in action on Saturday. They'll be up in Kirkland Lake to take on the Gold Miners. Next time they'll be at home is next Friday, January the 20th, as those Greater Sudbury Cubs will be back in Powassan to take on the Voodoos. You can watch that right here on the Frontline Broadcast. Next Battalion action will be, like I said, this Sunday afternoon as the Flint Firebirds are in town to take on our Battalion. That's a 2 o'clock start. And it's going to be another couple busy weeks here as hockey is lovely on the Frontline Broadcast. Well, one last time here from Memorial Gardens. Make the final here. The North Bay Battalion 7, the Sioux Greyhounds 4. For Ben Sargent, our producer Ben Long, Matt Sukram with our play-by-play, Courtney Kenny, even though he wasn't on air, he's still here in person, down covering the coach's comments right now. I'm Derek Lindeman. May you have a great Thursday evening. See you on Sunday.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.